doing? Eating?
Eating.
Because the Friedman Adventures family is so generous, right?
Yep. Once
Scott
again.
Buchert sent a pizza down here already and 2 big bags of chicken, Bob Gifford guacamole, and chips, and we're rocking away here, having a good time. How are you?
Good.
Everything good?
Yeah.
The fishies are starting to bite, you know?
Yes, they are.
And that is really good news, man. We've got all kinds of stuff, breaking news before we start getting into your questions. And Sam has a lot of tackle tips with what is currently going on right now. But let's just review for a second. The Pacific Queen limiting out on bluefin tuna. Same thing on the Polaris Supreme. Great fishing going on. And there's some really good daytime stuff going on. Colt snipers, Daiwa Sakana lures have been working. We're going to go over that, talk about how to fish them, that kind of stuff. Then we've seen some exceptional halibut fishing around. Up there on the Aloha Spirit, there was great fishing, and a white fluke like this was super effective. We'll show this to you, talk to you about how to use it so you can cash in on some halibut. Not only up there on the Aloha Spirit, but we also saw fish. The Pride is heading back in right now. He's got 9 white sea bass, Sam.
Wow.
And this morning on the morning briefing, I said we're sitting on a powder keg with regard to this sea bass. It just seems like with all the squid we've had this winter, we've had so much market squid around that it bodes well for a really great season. And it's already starting to kick into gear. I can't wait to see what happens when the water temp gets to 60. It's going to be crazy. You know what the water temp was at the Long Beach Buoy a couple days ago? Did you hear me say it?
It was like 50 degrees or something.
51.
That's crazy.
That's crazy cold, right? And then we have those wind sailors. They're blowing up on the beaches. Many people say that's a good sign for Albacore. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Things are really headed in the right direction. Did I leave something else out?
No.
Rockfish has been good.
Yeah, that's been when you can get out. I mean, that's been the other thing is weather, trying to be able to get some weather windows. But I mean, we knew we were on the edge of it here. We're just kind of waiting for this weather to give us a chance.
Right, and right now there are boats out in the Bluefin area. I'm not going to mention, I don't want to be the guy that says where, although most people can figure it out.
Yeah.
But I like the sport boat guys work really hard at that. So there's guys on the anchor out there scratching some fish. Pretty windy weather, so we'll see how they do tonight. But there's some conking that went on last night on the Queen. There's been good nighttime fishing. That's going to be like a 250-gram lure, like a knife jig, and then daytime's been 80 to 100 grams, and we'll go into that and so much more. Really excited to have you here with us. We're here at Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. Couple little things before we get into it with Sam. Number one, we'll be at Santa Ana River Lakes on Saturday, and you're invited. You can buy a raffle ticket, or you don't even have to do that. But if you do buy a raffle ticket, you can win a Penn Fathom reel, a couple of beautifully custom wrapped rods. They're trout rods. And we have a little table set up where we're going to take the kids through knot tying, trout fishing, how to bait a hook, the whole thing. So that's Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Santa Ana River Lakes. You want more information on that, you can call or text Chuck right now, 310-918-1448. So we will be there this Saturday, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, Chuck was in here the other day buying some stuff for the day, bunch of hooks and a leader, and I guess he's going to have the whole club over there, rigging up stuff to make it easy for them to get the kids rigged up.
That's going to be great.
So that'll be good.
Daiwa is providing like 10 rods and reels for us to work with the kids, and there's other sponsors involved. Just, anytime you get kids out fishing, right? It's great.
Good deal. Really good deal. Yeah.
So what do you think, man? I mean, if we can stay away from this wind, we're on this thing. I mean, this halibut bite is excellent. We've got the sea bass now starting to bite the Pride. Good job, Sean, on that one. We've got excellent signal on the beaches. I mean, there's some big spotfin croaker over at my house that are being caught. It just seems like it's time.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're on the front end of it here. We just kind of been waiting for the weather to cooperate, and all signs point to good fishing. We've had so much fish here we've had the last couple of years. It almost seems like when's it going to end, but definitely not this year for sure. That Grunion run has gotten everything percolated in the surf. I know that Andrew here was talking today about him fishing the other day and how good it was in the harbor and how much Grunion there is in the harbor. Other customers have come through and said they've been like literally snagging Grunion trying to catch fish. There's been at times so much Grunion, so much bait in the harbor. So
pretty incredible, huh?
It's been definitely looking really, really good everywhere you go.
Right. So one of the ways that guys are, well, let me read a couple comments
Yeah,
here
yeah.
because there's a lot of people already here. Dan Smith, who is one heck of a great guy. Good evening, Phil, Sam, and all you fine fishing folks. Get some coffee ready and get ready to hang out with Sam and Phil tonight. Dan, hit the like button, he says, and we do appreciate it. If you would hit that like button, that would be very, very good. Scott Buchert says the bluefin tuna are biting, and thanks to Scott, Sam and Philip are biting too. We're biting full speed on the pepperoni pizza as well as the chicken. Scott, thanks for your kindness. We really appreciate it. Isaac says, good evening, gentlemen. And then David Jimenez, how do you rig? Here we go. Perfect question. David's on it, man. How do you rig and fish the Colt Sniper?
Good, good.
It's topical. It's
Yeah.
going on right now. And David, great question.
So luckily that hasn't changed too much. I know every year it seems like we have a new way of doing things, but Brian Wynn was in here this morning, not this morning, this afternoon,
Right.
and was commenting on basically fishing the slide. So Albacore style fishing, the boat, everything except for the jig strike, but the boat sees fish on the meter, they stop the boat, they throw some bait, and you slide a Colt Sniper or a Zakana jig back, and that's basically what they've been biting on. Is these guys? I don't know how good they're going to look in the package here, but 80 gram or better, 80, 100, 120, 130 gram jig. I didn't see there's been a color preference, so I wouldn't get too caught up on that side of it.
Right.
The only thing I would do is you change out the hooks, which has been common. We've been doing that for years. Now is in the owner they have the 1.0 Stinger ST66, which is a 4X hook, the
Yeah.
1.0 size. Some guys will go to a 2.0, which I think is fine. I do a lot of my jigs on a 2. I just like a bigger hook, but a 1.0 seems to be the most common. And then also the split rings here. We use a lot of the number 7 owner ultras. It's kind of their heavy duty version. And I know the other smaller ones will work too, which is their hyperwire, also like in a number 7.
Yeah.
But the hook's probably the biggest deal there, is making sure you have that upgraded hook. I've seen fish over 100 pounds, over 150 pounds caught on this hook, so I got all the confidence that even if you hook a big one,
You're going to land it.
you're in good shape.
Yeah, yeah. Just to get some of the terminology right, the slide. When you say the slide,
Right.
tell everybody what that means exactly.
So, in effect, what that is that the boat, once it finds the fish, turns the motors off or backs off the engines, it's gonna take some time before the boat stops. So it's gonna slide to a stop. So we call it the slide. It's the time in which they say, okay, guys, we found them, throw bait. The boat's still moving forward, and that time when it's sliding is when you put your bait back. And so you can either put a live bait back or these jigs. The advantage of the jigs is they're going to get down a little deeper than the bait. The bait, because the boat's pulling your line, the bait's going to kind of stay on top. And if you got fish jumping out of the water, I'm sure the bait would work just as good. But a lot of times these tuna are going to be a little further down, and the boat's seeing them on the meter. And so you want to get your jig down just a little bit further down. So you want to put your jig in the water, let it free spool real good, but you got to be able to monitor it too. Don't just let it go wild without
You
paying
get bit
attention
on
where
the
you're going.
sink, right? or
Yeah, a lot of
something?
times you'll get bit you won't even know. So you want to have it to where you have a little bit of tension, but it's still free enough to where it's getting down a little bit.
Yeah, right. And so, do you wind on it super fast, or how do you?
Typically, you get bit on the
sink?
drop. Yeah, on the drop back. But once the boat kind of is kind of done with its slide, and that can be over 100 yards. Sometimes it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like it goes that far, but you're going to have a lot of line now. So you're probably going to want to stop your reel or kind of put it in gear at about 100 yards or so, and then I'd probably just hold on to it, because the boat's already moving, so the jig's swimming. And once the boat kind of stops, maybe wind it in. It doesn't have to be super fast, but that's going to be your first shot of fishing the slide. Once the boat does stop, you can throw the thing downwind, so you're away from everybody, and you're going to let it sink out. And when the jig gets at about maybe 45 degrees, and then you can just do a kind of a medium wind, medium to fast wind. Stop, let it back down. Stop, let it back down, and kind of listen to the captain and see what he says about how
deep they are.
How deep they are.
How do you hook the fish? Turn the handle, right?
Turn the handle, yeah. If you feel anything, you want to almost increase your speed.
Yes.
Grab onto the handle real tight, because sometimes they do swipe at it, and you'll feel like something bumped it.
Yeah.
But so you want to just wind onto the jig.
All right, perfect. Tony says, good evening, Phil, Sam, and all. Christopher Martinez says, hola, amigos. Hola, Christopher. Sniper Gene. Other than squid, what else artificials works good on white sea bass?
Well, I mean, up until the last couple of years, it didn't seem like any artificials really worked good. Sometimes we'd use a heavy jig, a Tatty 4.0 with the white with the red squibble,
Yeah, that was
and that was
always
a common one, right?
But a lot of people put a squid on that when
But yeah,
they
people
sink
put
it
a
down,
squid on
right?
it too. Yeah, so it wasn't ever really a lure that really worked on its own. And I think these people put squid on them too, but really this is the only thing. This and then the hookup baits. I know 2 or 3 years ago when that white sea bass was on the red crab.
Yeah.
That red hookup bait 5/8 was on fire. I mean, they were seeing them eat that thing.
Yeah.
But now this stuff is on the squid. So these flukes, I know you guys have probably heard the term really more of a freshwater, type bait. This is the larger version of it though. That's a super fluke, and so that's a 7-inch super fluke. That's the big one, and you basically are rigging it up kind of like you would a regular swim bait, with up to like an ounce, down to maybe a ½ ounce head. These heads right here are probably the key. You can rig them. There are some traditional shad type lead heads, like this guy here that we have here that's got a big hook on it. That's the other thing. It's got to be a big hook for the sea bass.
Yeah.
But one of the things you'll see with this guy here is if you can kind of see it, although this one's not too bad either, that this tie is a little further back. So when the thing's falling down, it's going to fall down like that. But when you come tight to it and you pull on it, it's going to kind of want to swim around as you pull it up. So this head has a really good swimming action with this tail. And also, too, guys use this same head with fishing just a squid.
Yeah.
But as far as an artificial, right now, this fluke is pretty much the best thing going.
Been murdering the halibut, right?
Halibut, white sea bass, anything that's eating that squid. I bet you a yellowtail would probably eat this thing too because they're all on those squid beds. And so that's what you want to use. And whether you use a squid on it or with these white flukes, that's probably going to be the one you want to go with.
They had just great fishing the other day on the Aloha Spirit. Danny Erickson from Marina Del Rey, you know Danny?
Yeah, those guys.
He was on board there.
Yeah.
He was on there. Shout out to Sean Stewart, who's a dear friend of mine and just a class act and one heck of a fisherman. I don't know if Sean was running the boat. Whoever he's got running the boat is going to be out of the same mold. But man, I'll tell you, they really put the wood to them. Not only that, they had some sea bass, and you know what they else? They had some freaking really nice barracuda.
Oh, really?
Not a bunch, but I saw the fish they were holding up were like
6 pounder, 5, 6 pounder, big ones.
Yeah.
Huh.
They were like almost, I don't want to say log barracuda,
Yeah.
because those were like 10 pounders when we were, but those
Pretty good
sizes
size.
they were
Well,
nice fish.
Well,
Fish.
you don't have to measure them.
Right.
Yeah, they're
Totally.
legal for sure.
So,
Yeah.
man, that just, I don't know. There's something going on that's different this year. That is for sure. Not that we didn't catch sea bass last year, but the water is so much colder, and the bluefin bites a little later. Now they're active. They're starting to bite, and it's in that cold water. Can you imagine what that fish is going to bite like when it's 65 degrees?
Well,
and above that, it's going to get insane.
We were talking about that El Nino. I mean, it almost seems kind of crazy you're talking about El Nino at 50 degrees water.
Yeah, right.
But that stuff's going to come together at some point.
It is.
And who knows what that's going to do.
Oh, my God. I'm telling you. And I will mention the A word, Albacore. I know everybody out there. Well, you've been predicting them every year for
Next week.
46 years. You're going to get it right one of these times. I predicted it for 2 years, and this year, I'll tell you, if the water couldn't be any better, I would love to see more anchovy around. That would seal it for me, but you're not going to get better, cooler water conditions
Maybe
than we have
salmon
right
or something.
now.
It's
I'm
so
telling you,
cold.
man. Do you remember that? Newport and... Yeah, we caught salmon all the time around here.
Yeah, for a little while, I helped out and worked on some of the filling on we were on a bait barge, and I remember back then there was a guy who that's what he did. He fished salmon out of there, and I forget what year it was. It must have been a good salmon year, and he was doing the whole deep, downrigger thing,
with those flashers.
Yeah, the flashers, and he was catching them. I mean, so it's possible.
It's crazy, man. David Rosenthal's another great guy. David says, "Good evening, gents. Dan Smith, very cool of you, Scott. Pizza. Scott Bucher, once again, we do thank you for your kindness and generosity. Sam and I don't have to go hungry tonight, right? Yeah. Let's see. And David Jimenez says, "Thanks, guys." Isaac says, "Dang, Scott, you beat me to it. I was going to order a pizza. Next time." Hey, thank you, Isaac. We appreciate it. Brett Enter, who's a fantastic human being. Great dad, great brother, great family. Good evening. I'm hoping to go check out the 540 boys as I'm really wanting a jig chucking setup. Saw a 10-foot CalStar rod at Sam's place. What reel would you recommend, Sam, for a 10-foot 540 type jig stick, man? For those Barracuda, there's nothing better, right?
So, I mean, I like using the middle size, conventional reel, star drag reel. So usually these reels are gonna have that kind of a narrow, a middle, then a wide. So that middle size. And I'm not really sure whether it's kind of a throwback to using those, Jigmaster 99s from back in the day. That was always like the perfect size, and I still feel like it is.
Me too.
A lot of it has to do with winding the line back onto the reels. It's like a comfortable size, about as wide as you can go.
Yeah.
And it just casts so good. So to me, whether it's a Trinidad 20, Saltis, or Saltigo 40, or even a Torre 20 or something like that, but in that middle size, that's what I really, really like. The high-speed reel, that's what we have these days, and they're all going to be like a 6-to-1, but in that conventional star drag middle width.
Sam, there's a ton of people watching tonight already, and
Nice.
usually it builds like at 7 o'clock you start getting the kind of numbers. Well, we're surging up toward 100 viewers here pretty soon, and there are so many questions. Remember, I promised you I'd let you go home early tonight? Not going to happen.
Well, we got pizza tonight, so we're good.
Yeah, we're good,
Stay
man.
as long as we want.
Stay till midnight, thanks to Scott. Isaac, don't give up. You might have to order one about midnight for us. Chewy in SoCal. Good question, Chewy. Do the color of the jigs catch anglers and not so important to catching fish? Please opine on that.
Question of the ages here.
I know, right?
Yeah, question of the ages. I mean, there's no doubt that we've all been on a trip where one guy or two guys using a certain color catches more fish that day. I mean, so it's hard to deny that on certain days, it seems like they want a scrambled egg, or it seems like they want a blue and white.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that it doesn't ever matter.
Right.
But I will say that on days where the fish want to bite real good, a good swimming jig is, we're talking about surface iron here myself.
Right.
A good swimming jig is going to be way more important than the color. As far as on this other stuff here, like these vertical jigs, it doesn't seem to matter as much. But by the same token, I've been on trips where they want to eat that pink and blue. Sometimes they want to eat a glow. Sometimes they want to eat, other stuff, and so I would say that it doesn't seem to matter in the sense of, if I buy one jig only, this is the color, I wouldn't go that route. I would want to have a variety of sizes and have a variety of colors,
And one time, I believe you said, correct me if I'm wrong, that you would go like with darker colors and lighter colors, whatever color. You have dark and light.
Yeah. Whether you go a mint and blue, a mint and white, and a blue and white, and like a lighter mint and white or something like that. Those to me are almost the same color. So if you're trying to pare down your box and get it to, to where you can fit all your jigs in one box, separate them that way, where we can go light and dark, and then just maybe two sizes or something like that.
Yeah.
And have a variety of sizes and colors is probably the more important thing.
Yeah.
Than any one color.
Absolutely. Some big halibut up on the Endeavor. Tucker McCombs, great fisherman. You fished with Tucker before?
I got that guy's an ace.
I know, man. He's really good. We're out with him May 3rd, so I can't wait for that trip. And once again, if you want a raffle ticket, you need not be present this weekend at Santa Ana River Lakes. Just send Chuck a text right now at 310-918-1448, and Chuck will get you all set up. All right, Isaac wants to know what the difference is from the Alberto knot to the RP knot. I've been watching videos on how to tie them, but to me, they're virtually the same. Am I missing something?
No. I mean, there's a lot of knots, not a lot. There's a few knots at least for sure, and I think the ones he's mentioning there, that you might find that one of them will say they're a 4-turn and one of them is a 5-turn, and they call them a different name.
Yeah.
So, but I think those two knots specifically that he called are the same knot. But you might see a video where they put 6 turns on one and another one where they put 5 turns on it, and they'll call it one thing or another. But no, those two knots are the same. Unfortunately, there's probably a lot of knots like that have the same name.
Yeah, and so, there's no need to freak out about it.
No, for sure.
Okay. Scott Buchert says, it was about time he said this. He didn't say Phil sucks, but he said Sam's the best. he always throws a compliment to whoever my guest is.
Well, Scott,
you're like part of the team.
I love Scott, man. That's the guy. So yeah.
Hey,
Sam is the best.
Hey, Scott, I'd get angry at you if you didn't send so much food over here. All right, Joe Firma, who's ready to fish? Me.
That's right.
Yeah, we all are, right? That's for sure. And another guy, let's see, Face Too Much OG, a.k.a. He's talking to Isaac, and he says, the RP, John Collins knot are all the same knot.
Yeah.
Is that true? John Collins is also the same.
Yeah.
All right, Chewy says John Collins came up with the knot on the Royal Polaris, hence the RP knot. Speaking of the Royal Polaris, since they segued into it, man, what a
Killing
freaking
it.
trip they're
Jeez,
having.
man.
Had another one over 300 today, a couple over 200. Roy Rose doing his usual fine work. What a trip on the RP right now. They are just putting the wood to the big YFT.
It's like 2 trips in a row, I think, for them.
Yeah, yeah, they've been on it, man.
They've been on it,
A little
for
bit of
sure.
wahoo in there, a little bit of
Yeah.
cabrilla.
All you want, though. I mean, it's been great fishing for 2 trips. I mean, those trips, the last 5 or 6 years have been a little dry, those long trips.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's been guys that have talked about how, well, maybe we won't do these trips anymore, or who's going to want to do them. The fish is not so good.
Because you got that bluefin right there.
And then that added to it, and here you go. I mean, it's just one of those things that kind of everything has its time, and if you kind of wait it out, you're going to get your turn, or they're getting it this year.
Yeah, for sure. Good fishing on that trip. There was a guy, I don't remember his name, but new to long range fishing.
That's right.
He had a 303-pounder today or something like that. Those bigger fish are coming on the kites, but John Yamani, fly line to sardine, had a 245. That's a nice YFT
that's
on.
a big one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That is some fun
That's
fishing.
awesome.
And the weather's being great and everything else. All right. Slamming. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We got hot sauce fishing. Hey, Sam, do you sell tactical angler clips?
I don't sell that brand. That's kind of one of those paperclip type, like a quick change type clips.
Yeah.
I don't sell that brand. I know that's a really good brand. They're one of the first ones that I knew of that came out and were selling those things. We do have the ones from Spro, and I have some other ones too. I forget the name of them right now, but we do have some of that style, but not that brand. I also just ordered some from More Baits and Kicker Jigs. Actually, the Kicker Jigs brand. We'll be getting those in here hopefully by the end of the week, and they actually have a variety pack, which is kind of cool. I had never seen that before. Usually you have to buy a pack of each one, but this is going to be a variety pack.
That's cool.
Where you can get all the sizes you want in one pack.
Very nice. Slam and Sammy, good evening, everyone. I'm getting an Abbott HX Raptor from a buddy this week. I'm stoked. Your thoughts on what you would use it for? Let's see. The line you'd use, what would you use it for, and what kind of line would you put on it?
Well, it depends if it's a regular or wide, but most likely it's going to be 100-pound braid.
Yeah.
It sounds like nowadays that's going to be your, if you're fishing local, it's going to be your heavier rig. If it's your heaviest rig, it's going to be your knife jig type reel with the heavy rod.
Yeah.
If it's your next to your heaviest rig, it might be your sinker rig, like your drop shot bait rig or whatever, for the big tuna as well. But it could also even be like a yo-yo reel. I mean, it really depends on where it falls in your lineup.
Yeah.
If it's your biggest rig, it's probably going to be your big tuna thing. If you got rigs above it, then it might fall down into something a little bit lighter.
All right, very good. I'm going to mess this name up. Ryan Untu. He says, hey, guys, how's the spotty fishing right now with all the grunion in the water looking to hit the docks in Long Beach? Well, I can say I saw a couple guys at 22nd Street the other night. Man, they had all kinds of nice spotties, sand bass, catch and release, but they were running up and showing me their fish, kids, and then running back and throwing them back in the water. So down there it was good. Have you heard anything?
Everywhere's been pretty good.
Really?
This Grunion's been really, really activated and everything.
Yeah.
And guys have been catching, white sea bass, halibut, bass. I mean, it's been really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of know where you can fish and things like that. You don't want to be anywhere you're not supposed to be. But I will say that we've been selling a lot of those little jigs too, those submission jigs.
Yeah.
A lot of them, the guys fishing in the harbor. Also, too, guys fishing bigger baits, 4 or 5 inch baits, because those Grunion are bigger, and so they're keying in, on a little bit bigger bait too at times.
Yeah. Do you ever do that? Get over and fish the docks?
It's been a while.
Yeah, because you're at home with your family and everything, right? Yeah. And I'm always like on a podcast or doing something, but I see these kids and man, sometimes those guys will get off the Freedom. They've been fishing all day, the crew, and if they don't have a trip the next day, I've even seen John Woodrum down there.
Maybe one of these guys can get a pizza delivered to the dock. I'll go down there. And eat fish.
Just send it over to our studio. Anywhere Phil Friedman and Sam go, we want pizzas to follow us,
and
right?
we'll fish, yeah.
Exactly. We'll get you all the very, very latest. All right, great stuff. Tony says, what do you guys think about using the clip with a swivel to attach jigs and artificials for quick changes? You like that?
I don't know about the swivel part. I don't think you really need that in addition to the clip. But that specific, I don't know if he's talking about the same clip. Is it the same guy from before? But that
maybe
that quick change clip is probably a little bit more limited on the poundage. Probably wouldn't be something you would use with big tuna, but but yellowtail with 40-pound test, I think it's more than adequate. And from what I've heard, I haven't used them myself too much, excuse me, but guys are tying directly to that clip and no other hardware. So I don't know if they're probably going to want to kind of use it almost as another pivot point, kind of how we used to use wire with jigs before to make them swim better. I think using the clip by itself without a swivel would probably be the way I would go.
Okay, very good. In case you're just joining us, Sam De La Torre here at Island Fishing Tackle. This is Tackle Shop Confessions. Tonight, that's the name of the show.
Yeah.
Who knows what it'll be tomorrow night. And, of course, we're bringing you the very latest fishing info. You can ask any question you want. Sam's got access to all this tackle, so you can make him run around and go pick stuff up. And most importantly, what we're trying to do is show you the tackle that is working right now. So we're focused on the bluefin bite. We're focused on the sea bass bite, the halibut, the rockfish, some of the surf fishing that's going on. There's also, I would imagine, going to be a few more yellowtail taken. That
coming.
was like crazy a month ago down at Colonette, which is 120 miles down the Baja coast from San Diego. And then the Coronado Islands, that was going good. They've got some cold, green, dirty water there at the Coronado Islands, so that bite hasn't been as good. But I'm telling you, man, that should get rolling again here pretty soon. And it's yo-yo iron fishing in the winter.
And the fish, I'm sure, hasn't gone nowhere. It just kind of needs the clean water to get activated again,
I think you're right. Mickey Salinas, hello, Phil, Sam, and all. Thanks for all the great information. Mickey, always great to see you and your lovely family. Hot Sauce Fishing. He's talking about the spotty bite in the back bay of Newport Beach on fire.
Yeah.
He had 38 fish last Sunday.
No, that's what
hot sauce kicking butt.
I've been hearing that a lot.
Really?
Good nights. I mean, like really, really good nights.
Yeah, I've seen those guys, like I said, over there at 22nd, and man, that's fun fishing.
Makes me want to go, actually.
Me too. What are you doing, man, when we get out of here?
I know, maybe.
Who knows, man? Depends on how late you guys keep us. We're always glad to stay. All right, SoCal fishermen, any word on the deep drop black cod fish rate? Want to look for as far as the bottom contour and what rigs to use. So black cod. I can say one thing about it. I've said it before. There's a guy. Have I told you about him? I don't know if I have. I don't even know if I should mention who it is. Should I mention?
Well, mention the idea, and then we'll see.
The idea is he shows me on his frickin' phone all these black cod he's catching 8 miles off of Pedro in 300 feet of water. 300? Yes. And he goes, I'm getting them all the time. Now, you know, those fish are in that deep water, but there was that summer, that 3 month period, 100 years ago on the Redondo barge that I know you took part in. And we caught those things full speed for 3 months in shallow water.
Yeah.
And this guy, I don't see him lying to me. Okay. I know he's a fisherman. Okay. All right. But I mean, he shows me all the time. And he said, let's go. I'll take you. So we got to go check that out. Huh? No, I got to go one of these days. But is there any advice you give to anybody? Or?
No, I mean, back then it was just a dropper loop. You know, we weren't really doing anything different rigging-wise. I don't think there's going to be, you know, I'm sure someone will come up with some black cod rig or whatever, but as far as I understand, nothing really different. I know that some of the guys that I've talked to that are commercial guys, they've been talking about doing some heavy rigging, like East Coast style with some, you know, swivels and things like that. Most of it really to keep your line from getting twisted up, you know, because they're using Spectra. But nothing really as far as the rigging itself it being any special. I would imagine you would just use cut squid or something like that. I mean, I don't think it'd be any different. But I don't know if they're using live bait or not. I don't think so. But
I remember
ask a guy there, man.
Yeah, I'll ask him.
Maybe a white fluke.
I remember. Do you got to get that?
Let me go.
All right, go ahead. I'll do an ad here for a second, and then we'll get back to this. So we are in a tackle store, everybody, and Sam has to answer the phone once in a while. Every once in a while, we'll get somebody coming up here also. Just a reminder, one more time again, come on out. This Saturday, you can come out to Santa Ana River Lakes. You got to buy your admission in. Then you can grab a raffle ticket from us, and with that raffle ticket, you're in to win that Penn Fathom reel or one of the two really nice custom rods. And also you get lunch. And tomorrow night, we'll be live from the Redondo, lunch. Redondo Rod and Gun Club with Chuck Zimmer and everybody. You're welcome to join us there. Also, Danny Cadota will be doing his live show. And then right after that, we'll live stream Bill Wilkerson from the Horizon, from the Malahini. Bill's going to be over there. And if you can't make it and come over and have a lovely fish taco dinner with us, oh no, not fish taco, I think it's carne asada. It's like Baja style tacos, and they do it right over there. If you want to attend that event tomorrow night, 310-918-1448. Even if you don't want to go, you're not going to go to the lake, call Chuck and bug him for me, will you? 310-918-1448. Just send him a text and tell him Phil said to bug him tonight. All right, the tops. Good evening, killer show. Thank you so very much. What spectra and monopound test would you load a Penn Fathom 32 speed with? And what CalStar rod would you pair it with? Good question.
I'd probably put 80 pound. I know we talked about that before. Yeah, 80 pound braid. I'd probably fill it up, pretty high. And once again, it depends on kind of where it falls in your lineup. It'd probably be a 40 or 50 pound rig there. As far as the CalStar, if you can find it, 800H or XH would probably be what I would put it on. Yeah, 800H or XH. Yeah, they're down there.
Is there a buzz starting to occur here at the store with the better fishing starting to take place? The bluefin biting,
yeah.
the halibut, the seabass. Do you feel it?
Well, where we start seeing it is guys getting top shots. Guys buying fluorocarbon. Guys that that are coming in and saying, "I'm going this weekend." So that type of thing is starting to happen. Guys are starting to get some tackle for trips they got coming up. But guys filling up their reels is a big deal. Especially they bought them at the shows, and now they're like getting ready to go. So yeah, we start seeing that guys drop off 5 or 6 reels, and you pick them up the next day or later that day or whatever. And so that's what we start seeing a lot of. And so guys, I think once they drop off the reels, it's almost kind of like one of the last things they got to do to get ready.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of the first things they're going to do to get ready. So even themselves, their attitude starts changing as far as they're getting ready for a trip. So yeah, we've been definitely seeing a little bit better.
One thing I don't think that gets stated enough, and I'm just picking the San Diego fleet now. You can pick other boats. You can go up there, that Aloha Spirit, the Endeavor. There's boats out of 22nd Street. The work ethic, the professionalism. Now, there's some boats that fall short. Okay, we're not going to name. We're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But the Pacific Queen and the Pegasus and all those guys down there. Sea Adventure 80. I mean, they just keep plugging away until they make it happen. Polaris Supreme. It looked like, man, I don't know, man. The water, it's windy, and man, they ran out to a new area. They found that fish, and here we go out to the races. So I salute them.
Yeah.
And the hard work and effort they put out, and not only that, taking a novice angler who walks on board, like the guy in the Royal Polaris now, has got a 300-pound yellowfin.
Fish for lifetime.
Remarkable, right?
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, I think we talked about a little bit before is other shows is I think these guys really have come from a different era. In the area I grew up in, I mean, it was different. We didn't really have to work a whole lot for trying to fill the boats. Now, service is a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal, and guys, not that they want to be like pandered to, nothing like that. They just they want to have respect, and they want to have somebody that helps them out. And these guys realize that if you help this guy catch his first big tuna, that guy's customer for life.
Right.
So if you help his kid catch a tuna or whatever the case may be, make sure that their tackle's all good and things like that. They're going to come back. And so service is a big deal, and these guys do a great job. And it's almost like you don't really see a whole lot of boats anymore that don't provide that. And the reason being is that if they're not providing good service, they don't get re-rides. They don't get guys that come back. So
that's so true.
they know they have to change, and we hardly ever see any boats that don't do that anymore. Not around here.
Right. Shout out to Ruben. I met him and his lovely family at 22nd Street right before they were getting on the Monte Carlo. I just happened to have 3 really nice tackle boxes there, and I saw the kids. I go, "Hey, you guys need a tackle box?" And they took the tackle boxes.
That's awesome.
So it was really nice to meet you. If you're watching tonight, and if you catch it on the rerun, that'll be great also. All right, Charles Zimmer. Chuck, I hope you're getting all kinds of phone calls, whether you're selling tickets or not. He wants to know what, in your opinion, is the strongest number 4 hook for BFT, bluefin tuna.
It's probably going to be the owner Mutu. That's definitely as far as a number 4. I think Amakatsu makes a really good one as well, number 4 hook. But I'm sure that owner edges it out for sure.
Yeah. All right. Chewy in SoCal, he shared the link where John Collins discusses the creation of the Royal Polaris. And we deeply appreciate you doing that. Dave Clark, Sam, do you go on each island tackle trip on the Royal Star? Do you have a list of the same guys that fish your charters each year?
I don't. I don't fish on all those trips. Just don't
You
have the
can't,
time.
right?
We can't. Yeah, yeah. As far as the list on the longer trips, definitely the same guys go on. Every year pretty much. We might have 3 or 4 guys that re-ride. On the shorter trips, I think maybe the ones he may be talking about. There's 2 3-day trips that we do on the Royal Star, and typically all those guys is kind of like we do get some guys that come back, but I would say more than half of them are new to that trip. Maybe not new to fishing, not new to the Royal Star, but maybe new to that
Yeah.
particular trip. So those you can usually get on, for next year. This year now, those trips are all booked up. You'd have to get on a wait list to get on one of those trips right now. But typically we don't really keep a list on those short trips like that. The
Yeah.
longer trips for sure.
How about a shout out to Diego Nuno? Huh?
Diego, man, I can't wait to get out with him again. Yeah,
Good guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one of the 2 3-day trips that we have, and so I hope to see him on that.
And you were very helpful in terms of all the collection of stuff we sent down to Mexico. That's all down there.
Yeah, waiting.
It's at his parents' house. I
Yeah,
met his
yeah.
parents. They're lovely people. And so we're just waiting to move it to Cedros at some time when we're all able to do it. But just getting it across the border, thank God we were able to do that. And that's down there. It's waiting. Maybe we'll do it in the fall when this all slows down. That would be
Yeah.
a good time. Then we can actually go do, hand it out and meet a lot of nice people. I'm sure about that. All right. Let's see. So Cal Drew decided to get the Saltiga 60 UC Viper for the Bluefin tuna night bite. What are your thoughts of that setup?
It's a great rig. Great rig. That's Daiwa's kind of biggest reel, their heavy duty reel that they make in that Saltiga series. That 60 is the biggest one. Up to now it's caught a lot of big fish, so I can't see it not doing really good for you.
All right. JC says this is the happiest place on earth besides being on the water. And you could say that the same about Island Tackle, or maybe he is saying that about Island Tackle or the show or whatever, but it's a pretty nice place here,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Isn't it? And being with all these people.
It's pretty cool, man.
It's pretty darn good. Mike Trunk, he's got a new name, Island Tackle Talk. Nothing wrong with that. We could definitely go with that. Let's see, Jason Bollinger. Hey, guys, great show tonight. Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate it. Had a question about the chase bait squids. I've seen a few guys throw them on the boats, but with mixed results. What's your opinion on them? And are they for bluefin tuna, I think?
I haven't seen too many guys use it for bluefin, although I don't see why they wouldn't work at times. I think that those chase bait ones that he's talking about, I know they make a couple of different ones. It might be the ones that are kind of, it's like a super realistic a rubber bait that they make. It's a squid. I've seen most guys try and use it for like lingcod or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen it work really well for that. As far as on the bluefin, it's worth a shot, I guess.
He may not be saying bluefin. I'm thinking he's saying, do they get bit? Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Can you see that? Are they bit? B-I-T? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're fishing for. I've seen them work good on lingcod and rock cod for sure.
All right,
So,
very
yeah.
good. Raul Almaraz. Phil, Sam, love the show. Raul, thanks for being here, my friend. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for all the useful info. Just picked up an HX Raptor and need advice on what rod to pair it with.
Right. Once again, it really depends on whether that's your heaviest rig. If it is, I would look at a rod that is at least, when you look at the ratings of the rods and the mono rating, at least 100 on the heavy end. Preferably, if it's your heaviest rig, maybe a little bit heavier, maybe 120, 130, as far as on the heavy side of the rating. So 60 to 100, 60 to 120, 60 to 130, something like that would be good if that's your heaviest rig.
All right, but that's a good rig. That pair
Yeah.
is going to work great, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, very good. Thanks, Raul. Pokey Dad Fishes, great show. Gents, what rod would you pair with a Shimano Curado 200 DC?
Well, it depends on where you're fishing it for. That's a small little baitcaster reel.
Uh-huh.
It'd be something you would probably fish. It's mostly a freshwater reel, and so when you get into this freshwater stuff, you're really getting specialized. Whether it's going to be something you're going to fish crankbaits on, or you're going to fish, other types of jerk baits or whatever. And so it really depends on what kind of fishing you want to do with it. As far as an all-around rod, you might want to look at some of the stuff from Phoenix. We saw a lot of their stuff. They have a lot of different freshwater lines. In like a 7 to 7.5 foot, something rated like a 8 to 17 or something like that would probably be where I would start off looking.
Yeah, okay, very good. Scott wants to know, do you like I think this is the question, do you like the cod rules that the Department of Fish and Wildlife have put up?
I definitely would say no as far as being
Eliminating March.
Yeah. Losing another month it was not good. Even though this March was super windy, so it's kind of debatable how many more days we would have got fishing anyway.
Yeah, right.
But in general, sometimes you never get those back.
I know.
So
the Pursuit ran 27 days last March and ran 3 this March.
Right.
That hurts.
Right.
Financially.
That's a huge number. I mean, 90% less. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, you talk to a lot of guys. I'll tell you, the common belief among fishermen is that there's no basis in fact for it. They just
No.
don't see it. And you always hear best available science.
Right.
You know what that means.
Right.
Yeah. It
No
means
science.
there's no
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing too. I mean, as fishermen, we want there to be fish, forever. We want to be able to go every year and catch fish, and want our kids to catch fish and our grandchildren to catch fish. I mean, there's not one fisherman that wants to catch everything on the water, and obliterate fishing. There's just there isn't, and so I think that we as fishermen have always been, conscious of limits, and,
Right.
and we want them as long as they make sense. But rock cod's just one of those fisheries that just doesn't seem like we've ever had. And now I was just talking to someone the other day. If you think about it, what we had in the 80s as far as the number of boats that are available for rock coding, I mean, it's got to be half.
It's got to be.
And so there's way less pressure on that fishery than there ever has been already.
Right.
to
Just
try-
as a consequence of,
Yeah.
and not only are there
Yeah.
half the boats, I would argue there's probably less guys on the boats
Oh, for
than
sure.
there used to be before.
Yeah, but even if they were full
Yeah.
now, I mean, just there's only so many tickets you can sell.
Right.
So if you were sold out, you still would never have as many as you had back in the 80s and 90s, And so, to me, I think that just that fact alone, I mean, our fisheries are safe. They're so super safe, just by the fact that we don't have that many guys that fish anymore.
Right. Great show tonight. Surged up over 100 viewers right now. You guys are awesome. We thank you so much. Friedman Adventures moving toward 2 million views.
Tonight.
You're a bit, yeah, maybe. It was real close to that, man.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, 2 million. And 210,000 hours of content consumed.
Jeez.
Who on earth would want to watch me for 210,000?
Nobody.
You guys got to see
Nobody.
a psychiatrist. No. We can't thank you enough. We really, really mean that. Sam's a huge part of it. I love working with you, Sam. You're number one, man.
You got it, man.
All right. Back to Scott Bucher. You watch your filthy... Oh, wait a minute. He said Tucker.
Oh.
I misunderstood. How long is your trip with Tucker? It's a day trip, Scott. It leaves May the 3rd, and it comes back May the 4th. We're going to kill the sea bass on that. I think we have 4 spots open. Send me a text at 657-227-6459 if you'd like to join us. Joel Lopez. You know Joel?
I think so.
Joel, you're number 1. Hey, guys, great show. When you all have a chance, question, you guys have any experience or thoughts on the Phoenix rod HAX 909 HJI? Is that what it is?
HJ.
HJ. I'll be pairing it with a Fathom 25N for a 40% jig, 60% bait stick. What do you think?
It's really more of a jig rod. I mean, it's kind of a stiff tip rod. Definitely more of a jig rod. I would say if you have another lighter weight rod, maybe something in the 8-foot range, like an 808 or something like that from them, would probably be a better bait rod. I mean, if you were going to only take one rod out, I guess you could use it for bait, but I definitely would classify that as a jig rod. That's actually what the J in the 909J kind of stands for, that they cut that blank in a way in which they made it so that the tip is a little stiffer for throwing jigs. So it's really more of a jig rod. That's what I would recommend on that rod, yeah.
That's where he should stay with that. Mm-hmm. By the way, just in case you're joining us late, we're here at Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. What's your hours and days that you're open here?
We're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6.
Do you want to say hi to Luna and to Diego and to
Diego,
your lovely
Luna,
wife, your
love you guys,
esposa?
Adriana, I love you guys. Hope you're having a good afternoon. Hope you guys are watching.
And do I get to say, go ahead.
And hope your homework is done.
I got a feeling Mom took care of that, right?
I think so.
And thank you to all you guys for letting your dad hang out with me here tonight, hang out with everybody else. Really, really appreciate it. All right, let's go to Andy Favela. Favorite tackle shop right here. What would you recommend for an overnight out of Oxnard beginning of May?
As far as the tackle, or as far as the date, not sure what he's meaning.
Favorite
but
tackle shop. What would you recommend for an overnight off?
it probably means tackle.
Yeah, or
In May?
maybe. Well,
Is that what he said? Or?
Yes, in May, at the beginning of May. I would recommend the Endeavor with Phil Friedman on May the 3rd.
Sure, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But maybe you want to
start there, yeah.
You want to talk tackle.
Yeah, I mean, that time of year, you're definitely going to be in the seabass zone, the seabass time of year. So you want to make sure you take 25, 30, 40-pound test, 8-foot rod. Doesn't have to be a 2-speed. There's not too much tuna happening or nothing like that at that time of year. But if you have a 2-speed, it'd be fine. But something 25, 30, 40-pound, maybe even a 50-pound rod. I mean, I know that at times they were getting some tankers last year.
Yeah.
And they were biting good and they were biting heavy lines. So I would say, 25, 30, 40, 50-pound test. Dropper loop rig, you're going to be fishing mostly dropper loop or an egg sinker or maybe a fluke. But you're going to be fishing that with mostly 30, 40-pound test. And maybe some jigs. We talk some yo-yo jigs, some of those white jigs we were talking about.
Yeah.
Some of these lead heads. These lead heads here too as well. You'll fish those with squid, and typically that time of year they'll have squid. That's probably one of the things you want to do is, as your trip's getting closer, is make a call up there and seeing if they have live squid in the tanks. And if they do, or if that's going to be the fishing, you're going to want to tailor your tackle to that too.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're in the shallows, or even, 40, 50 feet of water, you pin a live squid on that, those sea bass are going to just be all over that, aren't they?
Another rig too, I was kind of didn't get to when we were first talking about
go
it here.
ahead.
So this is a very similar thing using the fluke. And it's almost like a freshwater style setup. It's a heavy duty wide gap hook. And you're setting it up weedless with a bullet weight there. That's a ½ ounce there, but you go as much as an ounce if it's a little deeper. But one of the advantages there, and that little overhand knot there is just to keep the weight up there, so you're not going to put that in there. But one of the advantages is that it's weedless. And so if you are fishing around kelp lines, or you're saying fishing shallow water, then this will be weedless
that's
as well.
fishing, right?
So you can fish that stuff right in the kelp line.
That's going to work on halibut. That's going to work on white sea bass. Anything else?
Sure, calico bass to eat it.
Yeah, they're going to gobble
anything
it.
that's in the kelp, for sure.
Man, that's awesome. All right, good stuff. Good bluefin tuna fishing going on, although the wind is getting up on us a little bit. But the Polaris Supreme with limits, the Pacific Queen, there's other guys that were out there today. Talked to some of those guys. They said they were scratching at them in the windy weather. So that windy weather may take its toll. Man, I don't want to see that again this year. What a pain.
It just seems like it's here right now. But it'll definitely back off as the season comes on. But, man, we just need to shake that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. All right, Jeff Fuchs says, he wants her to read something about the Dan Hernandez show. I don't talk about Dan Hernandez.
What does it say?
I'm not going to read anything about
read it to
Dan.
me.
I'm only kidding, Dan.
Read it to me.
It's a good thing. Hey, Jeff's right. Phil and Sam, Dan for Kids Youth Foundation is asking for donations of rods and reels for the Kids Fishing Club. They are the Zepco type that are for kids with the push type. Can you guys share this? Just share it. I'm not sure where to send those, though, Jeff. If you want to let us know where people can drop them off, we're more than happy to screw with Dan Hernandez anytime. Dan, hope you're watching tonight. Jeff Fuchs says he loves the show. Tony says, Phil, is there any tackle swap meet coming up? I'm not aware of.
Nothing that I know
I don't
of.
follow it that closely, but is there?
No, I don't think there's any coming up right away. I don't know.
Okay. We'll look into that, Tony, see if I can't do an update tomorrow night, or maybe I'll get it on the morning briefing in the morning. Morning briefing's just a few hours away. You guys
Stay up.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I think I will. I'll go Grunion, honey.
Yeah.
Even though there's no Grunion run tonight. Rick Slater, what is your biggest selling item in your store besides Phil Friedman? Would you rather sell bulk spools of line or fill them in store?
Really don't sell a whole lot of bulk spools anymore, especially now with Spectra. A lot of guys don't even fish monofilament anymore. They're just fishing Spectra right to fluorocarbon. So monofilament we really don't sell a ton of. We do sell some. We sell a lot of quarter-pound spools, but hardly any bulk spools at all. I mean, really, hardly any bulk spools.
Okay, very good. Jeff Fuchs says, what is a great yo-yo iron to deep that will drop good in deep waters?
So, Tatty 4.0, that's kind of like your standard.
Go-to?
Yeah, the go-to. That's probably what we use the most. 6X juniors, 6Xs, 7X heavies. I know JRI also makes one out of brass. A lot of guys like that one because it's a little heavier, but it's the same basic shape as the 6X.
Yeah.
But it's made out of brass. So that's the big deal, is that for the same weight, the same size, it's a denser metal, and so it's heavier. So that's probably what I would get to.
And is that the name of the game, getting down as fast as possible?
At times,
yeah.
you know, especially down there in that Colonet area, if they're on the drift, you know, you may have to get down just for the sake of staying down. You know, if you use a jig that's too light, you'll never get down to where the fish are. So there are times where that's the key, but not always. I know that there's times fishing out at like the Cortez Bank that a jig that's too heavy, you know, it doesn't have enough action. So you want more of a 6X junior or a smaller size, maybe a Tatty A1 or something like that, Tatty 9, stuff like that, that's not as heavy. But over there, usually on anchor at Cortez, you're not drifting. So it really depends on the conditions and what you're doing.
Perfect. This Sunday, 8 a.m. at Marine Stadium Park, the 540 Slinger guys will be over there, and I understand that Joel
jigs.
from Tatty is going to show up. I think Sean Roberts may be showing up, although he may be running a trip on the Pride. Not sure about that. Mike Morrison is going to be there. It's really a great gathering of really great people. Jeff Yeomans, thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship. He's a great guy, and if you want to go learn how to cast or perfect your casting, that's the place to do it at. It is so user-friendly. It's kind of like my attitude about this show. I noticed that some guys have come to me and they say, man, I posted a question somewhere and everybody called me an idiot. And, you know, that there's no such thing as a question that you're going to get ridiculed here because, first of all, I ask more dumb questions than anybody. You told me that all the time.
An idiot.
Yeah, but there's no such thing. We're here to learn together.
Yeah.
Some of our expertise is a little higher and lower. Don't worry about it. You have a question, this is the place to ask. Did you want to show something or do
Yeah,
something?
so as you can see here, these are on the smaller side here, but you can kind of tell me, Phil, that JRI there on the right, that's a little heavier.
It is.
But it's the same basic shape, so they're going to have same basic action.
Yeah.
They're just made out of a different material, so.
That's going to get down in a hurry, though, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot faster.
Yeah. And what's the action like? Do you know? It's
Just as good, yeah. I mean, you know, generally something that's lighter has a little more action, so the 6X Junior is probably going to have a little more action. But if you don't ever get down to where the fish are, it doesn't matter. So,
right.
You know, that's the whole key with these brass jigs.
All right, that looks bitchin'. I like that. Joel says, hey, Joel, Sam and Phil, great show, learning so much. So I bought a Fathom 15N a couple of years back without knowing what I was buying. What's some of the best applications for that reel?
So that's going to be it's a tall, narrow reel. That one there, if you have it full of, like, say, 50-pound braid, it should take around 300 yards, which is a good amount of line. But that'd be a good live bait reel, you know, something fishing in the kelp line, you know, overnight boat to Catalina or San Clemente Island. Fishing 20 to 40-pound test on that thing would handle most everything. The only thing that's a little shy on would be if you're targeting bigger tuna, where you might need more line. It doesn't hold as much line as the wider versions of it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it has all the power of the 30, but in a narrow size. And so it's a nice reel. It just be something that maybe you would use in more of a coastal big fish kind of reel.
All right, perfect. Joel, I hope that helps. Rocket Dog. I love Rocket Dog. Hi, Phil and Sam. Finally made it to a live YouTube.
Welcome.
Hey, Rocket Dog, welcome, man. It's good to have you here. Isaac, what do the white sea bass limit go to? When does it go to 3? I think it's June 15th.
The day after your trip or something like that? No.
Yeah, right. Thanks. Let's see.
Yeah, middle of June. It has to do with the moon cycle or something like that. It's like
Yeah, and what's ridiculous about it, honestly, that's when they're biting full speed, man.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually a little later. Like June
Yeah.
and July are not bad months for white sea bass. They're very good months.
Has to do with their spawning cycle. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and that has to do with water temp more than anything.
Yeah.
And in a year like this, it's probably going to creep up slowly
Yeah,
and
yeah.
be to that optimum degree.
I think so.
You get up over 60, 63, man, and that's a good water temp for those things. And, you know, some of these yacht guys that I talk to, and they swear me to secrecy. So if you're going to report on fishing for as many years as you can't burn your sources.
Yeah.
But they did say I could say it. They can't say who. But I mentioned today on the morning briefing, those guys are getting yellows and sea bass at Cat and doing really well. I don't know where Sean was fishing on the Pride. He's not going to tell me. I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, Cat's viable. Clementi's viable. Santa Barbara's viable. Nick, all those Channel Island, man, we're sitting on a powder keg, and it has a lot to do with how much of that market squid we had all winter long.
Yeah. That's really fueling everything. Just like this Grunion is kind of fueling the coastal scenery here on the beach. It's the squid that kind of gets things turned on in the offshore islands. So, I mean, I don't see why, if you can get out there right now, I don't see why you wouldn't do pretty good. Yeah.
Christopher Martinez, I'm going to be throwing iron this year on a 9.3 Steadfast ML with my double-dogged Jigmaster 505 HS. My back is already hurting just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you had a chance to pull on those things. Those things are thick-walled.
Yeah.
They come out of Texas or something like that. They're made for fishing redfish over there.
Oh, shoot.
And for casting super heavy weights, out to those redfish off the beach. But those things are heavy walled. They're super slow. They're kind of made to mimic the old Harnells. That's kind of the idea behind those. And yeah, you got to have a good back to be casting those things all day.
Yeah. Those redfish, man, those things look bitchin'.
Yeah.
They look like a giant yellowfin croaker or
Yeah,
something, don't they?
pretty much. Yeah.
Have you ever caught one?
No, I've
I
never
got
been
to
down
do
there.
that.
Yeah.
Josh Selfridge, a friend of my kids, he moved to Texas and put up some photos of those. I'm going, I want to do that.
It's
man.
a whole
that
culture
looks
down
bitchin'.
there. I mean, just how we have like surface iron fishing
Yeah.
here, and it's kind of like a subculture of our fishing. That's how that redfish is over there, is from what I understand.
Yeah. Jabobo Tubbs. One of these days, I'm telling you, there's going to be a name here. I'm going to read it, and it's going to be F-U somebody or something. But hello, guys. Great show. What's your opinion regarding using a ringed hook versus a non-ringed hook when fishing with bait? Thank you. Great question.
Yeah, more often than not, I still kind of like, go to the ringed hook myself. I feel like that still is going to give, most times it's going to give a bait a better action. When you start kind of questioning these things, it's also important to try to be open to the idea that having a non-ringed hook might be the key to getting a bite one day. Maybe the bait on that particular trip isn't very good, not very strong. So maybe that extra weight of the ring might be something that's slowing it down just that little bit more.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of gauge it based on the bait, and the better the bait is, the easier the more willing that I'd be be using a ringed hook. But at the same time, when I go fishing, I take a variety of hooks. I don't take all ringed hooks. I don't take all circle hooks. I don't take all of anything. You want to have a little bit of variety of tackle to be able to tackle the situation as best you can. So, I wouldn't. That question's a hard one to answer because it kind of depends.
Yeah, for sure. When's the last time you fished like the Baja surf? When the last time you went down to San Quintin and
Never.
Really?
Yeah, and I never fished a surf down.
Oh,
I've
man.
only been on a sport boat down there. Yeah.
We got to go sometime.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I
I have a lot of customers that go down there. It's pretty dang
freaking
good.
perch fishing's
Yeah.
off the hook.
Yeah.
And it stays that way like into summer sometimes because they get that California
Mm-hmm.
cold water current in there, and like San Quintin, Playa Socorro, up there at Colonette, man, it's just full
I know at Colonette,
speed.
there's guys who target like that halibut down there too.
Yeah.
They're fishing Lucky Crafts. I mean, it's good fishing, really good fishing.
I can't wait to get down there again. Jeff Fuchs, Tony, we have a Dan Kids swap meet on April 30th at Dan Hernandez Youth Foundation in Cerritos, California. So you guys want to donate a rod to Dan's great program, you can do that. Dan Smith says, hit the like button. Please do. We deeply appreciate it. Sam can't go home to his lovely wife and kids unless we get to 200 likes tonight. So.
Or pizza.
Yeah, right. We'll get pizza, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, I should mention that through my generosity and kindness, I'll be bringing a pizza and some chicken to the Rod and Gun Club tomorrow night, Chuck. Might be a little
Half a
stale,
pizza,
but
maybe.
yeah, those kids hit that pretty hard, didn't they? All right, Joe Surwald says, hey, Phil and Sam, how many trips does Island Tackle do a season? I've seen a few out there. And do you go on a certain boat? Do you spread it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I think that's the question.
Yeah. I mean, we do a few trips on the Shogun, a few trips on the Royal Star, a couple 3 days and a 11-day on the Royal Star. On the Shogun, I think we have a 4-day. I think it was a 4-day, another 4-day, maybe we got a 10-day on there.
Yeah.
We actually have a trip on the El Dorado coming up this weekend. We'll see how the weather holds up. Usually try to do a couple trips on the El Dorado. That's kind of our local boat there. Those guys have been really supportive of the shop over the years.
They fish Nick a lot and do really well
yeah.
there. Lots of sheep's head and whitefish and good fishing. And you can catch sea bass there and everything else.
Yeah. And don't know. We try to get a couple trips maybe on a 22nd Street Landing this year. I'll see those guys.
Yeah, come over there and harass me a little bit,
Those
man.
guys are pretty booked up though, so I'm really glad for that. You know, what I mean, so, but maybe with Sean,
Help me
or
fill
one
up one of
those
my
guys, or-
amigo trips. I haven't even pushed my fall trips
Yeah,
yet. So
yeah, maybe we'll
yeah,
collaborate on that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
And then we can just fill them up, and that would be great. Joe also wanted to know: is a Machaira 30 big enough for nighttime bluefin?
Yeah, more than plenty. More than plenty. It's basically a 30 wide, so that thing holds like 650 yards or more of like 130-pound braid. So you're in good shape.
Isaac wants to know, Sam, you got any of those wheelhouse boots in stock? Need to try an 11.5 or 12. Those are the wide ones, right?
Those are the wider ones. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we have them in stock. Actually, I know we mentioned them a couple times last week at the show, and we had a bunch of guys come in actually wanted to try them because they hadn't heard about them yet. But yeah, if you have a wider foot and you've had a hard time, you know, with boots in the past, these things, most guys when they put them on the first time, instantly they want to buy them.
I got to try it.
They
Yeah.
are so comfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they come in a 14?
They do.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got those?
I got them. We'll try
Okay.
them on. We'll try them on right now if you want.
Yeah. I don't want to smell you out of here. My smelly foot, man. Peter Cepeda says, hey, Sam, love the new Talica handle, the 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Yeah, we were trying to get the specifics on it for him, and he lives out in Riverside or something like that. And he had some business out here, and so he said, well, I'm just going to go down there and take the reel. And he brought it in. We did it while he waited. And, yeah, that's been a cool upgrade, you know, for that Talica 25 and even the 20. We're able to put the handle from the Talica 50, which is like the size of a Tiago handle. Let me go grab it real quick.
Okay, do it. I'll give Bill Wilkerson a plug. Bill's going to be, Captain Bill Wilkerson, going to be at the Redondo Rod and Gun Club tomorrow night. You're welcome to join us. We'll be there live streaming it. You can buy raffle tickets. You can have a great Baja taco meal. Just send Chuck a message, a text, and he'll get back to you and get you out there. You can come out and buy some raffle tickets, have some fun. I'll be there. Danny Cadota is going to be there. 310-918-1448. We would love to see you there. And then this Saturday, we're going to be at Santa Ana River Lakes, and we'll be there from 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. Have a table, teaching kids how to tie knots, how to trout fish. That's all going to be a lot of fun also. And Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing, they're all over the fish. You've got the Island Spirit, the California, and the Endeavor. Get up there and fish with those guys. They are fantastic. 805-676-3474, Sam.
So show that guy right there.
All ready?
So that's basically the handle that comes on pretty much every Shimano reel from like a Trinidad 16 all the way up to a Talica 25. And it's actually a good shape. You know, it does fit your hand pretty good, and it's a nice shaped knob.
Yeah.
But this is the one we put on
Oh,
that
wow.
Talica 25. So, you know, I mean, generally that Talica 20 and 25 wasn't originally designed to be targeting 300-pound bluefin tuna. And so they didn't really put a big handle on it. But luckily for us, they make this handle, which actually comes off their Talica 50. And because it comes off the Talica line, the shifting mechanism and the holes that are associated with it are the same as the Talica 25 and the 20. And so we're able to put this handle right onto it, and it's a factory handle, so it has a factory feel, and it's a great handle.
Yeah, it looks like it,
Yeah,
man. It
it's
just
awesome.
looks
Yeah, I mean,
bitchin'.
compare that to that, it's night and day.
That's what Peter was talking about,
That's
right?
what he was talking
Yeah.
about. And we do a
Get
bunch
it,
of
Peter.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Joe Surwald says, let's break 100 likes for Sam. Come on, hit that like button. Rocket Dog, question for Sam. I'm looking to get my first Baitcaster and not sure which 400 model to choose. Daiwa, Shimano, new pins. I will use it for saltwater bass, some yellowtail, and schoolies for the 5-3 trip. Suggestions?
So the good thing is that all those brands make really nice reels.
Yeah.
You know, and really what you want to look at is that they're all different in a few ways. The Shimano, they have the Tranks. That one is probably the smallest. You know, well, before I start there, we're going to talk about a Shimano, we're going to talk about a Daiwa and an Akuma. All three of those 400 size reels hold the same amount of line. So we'll start there. Should I get those?
Absolutely, you should get them.
Be easier for
That's
me
what
to show
this
'em.
show's all
Yeah,
about,
yeah, yeah.
right? Once again, some really good fishing going on. If you're just joining us, we're here at Island Fishing Tackle Shop Confessions on Friedman Adventures. I appreciate all of you great people who are supporting us and driving us to 2 million views now. We're almost there. A couple 100,000 hours in content consumed, likes. We had a post on TikTok the other day. They got 3.4 million views. We have well over 400,000 likes on TikTok, which who knows if that's going to last much longer. They might shut that down. And I'm not necessarily opposed to that, even though it works. But anyway, thank you for all that you do for us. We deeply appreciate it. We've got all kinds of charters coming up. We're going to be teaming up with Sam, whether he likes it or not. I just sold him on that one, and it sounds good. Go for it.
All right. So.
You want me to model these?
Yeah.
Right.
Vanna?
Steve, yeah, really. I'll go one at a time, or.
So we'll look at, if you guys can kind of see these two reels here. So this is the Shimano, this is the Tranks. One of the things people like about the Tranks is that overall it's the smallest body of them all. All three of these reels are offered in a high speed and the kind of more power speed. In the Shimano, the power speed is sold with this paddle handle. And the high gear one, which I didn't have one in the case there, but it has a big power handle just like you see on these other ones here.
Like this?
Yeah.
Or like these two? Yeah.
And so one of the things people like about the Shimano reel is that it's the most compact of all three of them. You can kind of attest to that a little bit.
Yes.
On the Daiwa, one of the things people like about it is that it has a counterbalanced handle. It's a little bit larger knob. It's a nice knob. Also, too, it has a external cast control. And why that matters, especially if you mentioned throwing jigs or yellowtail, is that you can change that depending on what jig you're using and maybe the conditions change, maybe it gets windy or something like that.
Right.
And so at will, you can just make that adjustment depending on the conditions. And so that's one really good thing for casting. Also, too, the fact that this is counterbalanced, when you go to cast, you're not going to have a heavy handle that will come around and engage the reel. So this is really nice for casting. Just because it has those features. So that's one of the things that reel has.
Yeah.
The Shimano, like I said, it also has a cast control feature, but you have to get into the reel to access it. So now you have a loose part here and potentially even a spool. I know, yeah.
But I'm just, I mean, most people are way more
way
mechanical
more for
than
sure.
me.
Almost everybody is.
Yeah, absolutely. You had a 3-year-old kid in there who was.
Yeah, he was better too, yeah. But, the cast control system that this reel has is centrifugal, and it actually does work really well. So if you're comfortable doing that, then it's not a big deal. But I would say, like you're saying, is that if you don't have to do that, it's kind of cool. On the Komodo, you also have to get inside the reel there. You have to undo this guy here, and the side plate comes off. But on the Komodo, one of the things that people like about it is that it has a clicker. So none of the other reels have a clicker. And usually with this smaller reel, you may not need one, but if you thought you did, or if you like the fact that you could have a clicker on there, the Komodo from Okuma is the only one that has that.
That's interesting.
As far as drag, they're all pretty good. I know that the Komodo is rated a little bit higher, but all three of them have more than enough drag for the size reel they are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a quick rundown of
Those are
these
beautiful.
400s.
Good job, Sam. That's a great update there. All right, let's see. Dan Smith. Dan, where's Kim tonight? Is she making me a bacon, cheese, keto snack? We're okay, right? I'm full, aren't you? With all that Scott Buchard food running around here. Sam, question. What is the purpose for the extra piece that hangs down at the end of the roller tip on the deep drop swordfish rods? Thank you, Sam.
The extra piece, he might be talking about a swivel tip.
Yeah.
So the idea is that the line goes through the roller, and then that small little hanging piece should have a hole where the line goes through that. And so it's just a way of guiding that line, especially with that thing swinging around. It basically makes it so that the line can't wrap around the tip.
Yeah.
So I hope that's what he's talking about.
If not, just let us know, Dan. We'll delve into whatever it is you want us to delve into. Now, Zachary Chen, here's a man after my own heart. He's trying to make some money on these trips, besides having a good time and catching great eating fish. So he wants to know, how can I catch the jackpot sculpin on those half-day trips? What can he do to increase
I always
his
do it by
odds?
fishing a jig. Actually, I do. I'll fish these, Colt Sniper and Zacanas.
Yeah.
and I always seem to catch at least one of the bigger ones on the boat. I can't say I always catch the biggest one, but generally fishing a little bit bigger jig. You wouldn't think those sculpin would eat a jig, but they do really well. So try a jig. That's probably what I would recommend. Yeah, or even if you're using the plastics, a lot of times you use a double dropper loop with a small little like colored plastic. You use a little bit bigger one. You know, those sculpin are aggressive, and a bigger in this case a bigger bait does usually equal a bigger fish.
And jig, preferred jig or anything?
You know, I use the Zakana myself. I like it a lot. I seem to do a little bit better with that blue and pink one, but I've done really good even with their glow. They have a glow spotted one. They have like a scrambled egg colored one.
Do you bait the jig?
You know, I don't start off that way,
Yeah.
and a lot of times I do real well with it. But if it's a little slower, I might bait it. And you know, on most of the boats, what they'll do is they'll cut up sardines and like slab them out, the sardines, and that seems to be the best bait for those sculpin.
All right, Zachary, when you win the JP, skim off $10 and give Sam and I 5 each, will you?
Pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Bollinger, got another question. What's the report been out at San Nicolas Island recently, and what rigs have been effective out there? I've heard some decent halibut fishing. There's some sea bass out there, and of course, that sheep's head fishery out there is just mind-boggling good.
Yeah. World class.
World class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Hopefully you'll get out there this week.
A couple of different kinds of fishing you're going to do there. Over there, you might try some of this stuff here, like we were showing earlier, if you're fishing the shallows there for the sea bass and halibut. I know that they do a lot more of the traditional halibut drifts over there, with you do a reverse dropper loop.
Yeah.
You know, with a long leader for the fishing of the shallows. The rock cod fishing is a little more general rock cod fishing. A lot of times over there, especially if it gets a little windy, you're going to need a lot of weight. So you're going to want to use your bigger jigs. Also use your lighter spectra to get down on those jigs, with those jigs. And also too, what works really good over there, I know we did a trip last year around this time, and we were doing like that slow pitch style stuff, and that worked really good too. So anything that gets you down to the bottom on the rock cod is a big deal over there.
Yeah, for sure. California saltwater fishing. Paul Fanning, who's a great guy. Paul was just updating me when he was on the Polaris Supreme. I was all over their bluefin bite, and then they went into calling it and slammed 120 yellows. Had really great fishing. He says hi. Let's see. He's here from California Saltwater Fishing. I believe he's got a YouTube channel. I know he does. California Saltwater Fishing. Since we can fish deeper water now, do you think it's worth it to invest in an electric reel?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now we're open to all depths. And so I don't really see a lot of boats really fishing that deep all the time. But in the fall, I can't remember now, it's September, we're going to switch to deep only.
Deep only.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's really going to be what we're going to see. I think that by the time that time of year comes, hopefully some of the boats have kind of figured out some of those deep water spots.
Yeah.
But up to now, they really haven't fished it a whole lot. They haven't had to. I mean, the fishing's been good shallow.
Yeah.
And also too, I think that they they don't want to go out there and put 15 or 20 guys out of 30 that don't have the gear for that deeper water. So it's going to be probably on charters or maybe one day a week where you're going to see some of these boats fishing the deeper water. But I thought for sure you would see more of that happening. But I can see where some of the boats really are kind of not wanting to do it if they don't have to. But come September, come the fall, we're going to have to, and it's all going to be a really deep water. And I definitely would recommend you invest in one. Also, too, is if you find one available right now, I'd pick it up just for the fact that when you do need it, you probably won't be able to find it.
That's probably true,
Yeah.
right? Is there a particular brand that's better than any others?
Well, there's not that many out there. I mean, it's just a Daiwa and a Shimano. Daiwa makes that Tanacom 750.
Yeah.
Well, they used to make it, but the 500 that they make is pretty good. It's kind of a low-powered, more shallower water rock cod reel, but I think with some small spectra, using small spectra and lighter weights would probably do okay. Then they have the 800, which is the new big one. That'd probably be the one. They're pretty good-sized reels, but we'll have to see after this fall whether or not that's going to be a thing that we're going to have to really gear up for. But I would imagine that's something you want to look into for sure.
All right, great question, Paul. Hit that like button, everybody, as we surge up toward 120 listeners right now. We really appreciate it. I can't see how many likes we have, but I'm sure we got a few. Huh? 250, right? Yeah. Scott's hit it 199 times. Scott, thank you. Jeff Hughes. Phil, the Dan's Kids Fishing Foundation is having a fishing swap meet. Can you share this flyer? I don't see a flyer. It's on April 30th from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think probably if you Google
Yeah.
that, you'll be able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
find it, unless you know what's going on. Joel Lopez, another question for you guys. What do you guys prefer? All braid to fluoro or braid to, like, let's say 50, 60, yes, mono to fluoro? For live bait, have fish both. I like mono, but curious what you think, Sam.
I think it's important to be open to both.
Yeah.
You know, I would say 75% of the time I'm fishing braid straight to fluoro myself, but I always carry some mono with me, and there are times where I have seen it to where the mono gets a bit better, or at least you get a bit better with the stretch of mono on there. And as to when I would do each one is just when I get a bit better. I don't really have too many reservations with pulling hooks or something like that. I know some guys have reservations with using the short fluoro because they feel like they're going to pull a hook or
Yeah.
straighten out a hook or things like that. I really haven't had that happen too many times. I feel like getting bit for me is the most important thing. And up to now, I feel like I've gotten bit pretty dang good on just a short fluoro, but there have been a few times where that stretch of mono on there, maybe 25 yards at the most, seems like it's been the key.
All right, sounds good. Pride arriving to 22nd Street Landing shortly. 9 white sea bass today. Nice hit, nice big fish. I think he's got 5 halibut to go along with it. Copious amounts of colorful, delicious rockfish.
There you go.
That's some pretty good fish. And Aloha
Yeah.
Spirit yesterday with a huge day on the halibut. Danny Erickson was up there. I think they had a dozen nice flatties. Really great fishing. Things are really coming together. And then we had that bluefin bite, just keeping you all excited about the season that is upon us right now. Brett Ender. Once again, Brett, you're the best. Show name. How about Friedman Adventures Full Speed Tackle Tips? Yeah, I like
good one.
all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
names are good, man. That's a good one, Brett. Joe Serwald. How often do you, Sam, change your spectra on your reel? Now, recommend to a person that doesn't own a tackle shop when they might, So yeah, he wants to know what's a good time. How often?
The Spectra really, it does last. I mean, technically it lasts forever. It doesn't ever degrade on its own. What you want to kind of really take into account is any kind of trauma it's gone through. So, especially with this nighttime fishing, one of the things that happens a lot is tangles.
Yeah.
So if you get in a couple bad tangles, I'd probably recommend changing it, or at least changing that section of it. You don't have to change all your line. Like in the past, if you had mono and you lost 100 yards, you just changed the whole spool.
Yeah.
With Spectra, you don't have to do that. There are ways of connecting the two. If you can learn how to do it, or we can come down, you can show us how to do it, and we can show you how to do it, is you can use some hollow and use that as a kind of a connector piece between your what you have on there and what you're going to put on there. And so there's different ways of putting line on your reel, but really it's kind of a case-by-case basis. I don't really put a time on it. I would say more it's a matter of kind of monitoring what's been going on with that specific line, and if it's gone on a couple tangles or rubbed on the boat real hard or something like that, or maybe you got caught up, in some kelp and the fish, ran through it, or, any number of things that you thought would have damaged the line. It would have to be a physical damage, not like monofilament or fluorocarbon that has stretch or something that's stretched out or something like that. It doesn't do that. So it lasts a long time. You really shouldn't have to change it too often, but you want to keep track of what it's gone through. There is a little bit of maintenance that's involved with it, and you want to keep track of what it's gone through. And but there isn't really a time. It should last 5-6 years at the least, I would think.
Yeah, it's durable, right?
Very durable.
I mean, that's the point of it, right?
That's one of them, yeah, for sure.
David Rosenthal says there's a tackle swap meet in Brea this weekend. You know how many questions there are here? It's brutal, man.
30 questions, yeah.
It's good. Yeah, I mean, right? That's why we're here. SJ, I didn't hear you say anything. Have you heard any feedback on the new Nomad Squid Trex lure? And do you think it has a good SoCal application?
Early on, before it was really released, I know some pro staffers got a hold of it. They fished it here at right out front here, I think, Horseshoe Kelp area, and they did really well with it. So I just from looking at it, it doesn't look as different as you would think. It's a new lure from Nomad, but not really a new style of lure altogether. From what I've seen in that shallow water rock cod, I think it'll do really well. As far as other applications, calico bass or white sea bass or something like that, I haven't really heard of anybody catching anything on it quite yet as far as that category of fish. But overall, it's a jig that I think will do pretty good. You want me to try to find one of those things?
Yeah, of course I do. Yes. And while you do, Jeff Yeomans from the 540 Slingers Club, he's taking his dinner break right now. He's with us. Jeff, we've already given you a nice plug for this Sunday, April the 16th, over there at Marine Stadium Park in beautiful Long Beach, California. It's a casting, a way to better your casting game. There's guys there to help you. Taddy Lures will be there. Jeff Yeomans is going to be there. Brian Wynn is going to be there. All kinds of great people. And if you want a raffle ticket tonight, you don't have to be present at Santa Ana River Lakes. You can win a Penn Fathom reel and a couple of beautiful trout rods. Just send Chuck a message. Tell him I told you to bug him. 310-918-1448 Sam.
That's for April 15th?
Yeah, that we're going to draw that on April 15th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right.
You
So
wanna hold that up
here's
there?
your Nomad
Ooh,
Warrior Squid Tricks.
pretty.
It is pretty, yeah. That's a smaller one there. That's the 95 size. They make them all the way up to a 150 gram
That'd make a nice
size.
earring, wouldn't it?
It does, yeah. So that's the one there. And I think, like I said, that this is a length. I'm sorry. This is a length is 95 millimeters. The largest one is 150, so it's about that big and it's heavier for sure. One of the things that's nice about this guy here is that you might be concerned about how's this thing going to get down 200 feet. Is that it has another tie point down at the bottom there.
Oh, okay.
So you add some weight down there and
Yeah.
you can kind of drop shot it, get down to some depths. But I can't see a big old red not eating this.
I
Or
can't either.
maybe the guy looking for that
The big sculpin?
the big sculpin. I'm pretty sure they would eat this thing full speed.
Yeah, the bigger sculpin probably
Yeah,
would,
for
right?
sure. Yeah. So
That thing looks great.
yeah, you add maybe a 4-ounce weight down to the bottom here. I think they would do really good. So as far as application, yeah, I mean there's plenty of species that we catch that would be good on this thing here.
The lings are going to eat that,
Sure,
right?
especially the bigger size for sure.
Right. That is really cool. I like that. Well, when did those become available?
Well, they're available now.
Uh-huh.
We actually took them to the first show down there in where was it at? Yeah, it was at Del Mar, I guess, when we had them. So we took them down to the first show. We pretty much sold out.
Oh.
I mean, it was crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
And we reordered, but I think they're not going to be available until the end of April, I believe.
Yeah.
So you'll see them again available here, hopefully end of April, early May.
They just sold out? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple left here in the smaller size, but guys, we're buying the bigger size because, it's kind of already ready to go with the weight.
All right. Peter Cepeda is back with us. Hey, Sam, is 450 yards of 100-pound Spectra on a Talica 25 good for nighttime fishing? Just curious, if I hook a cow on it, would I be able to catch that thing with 450 yards?
You should be fine. Although that reel should hold more than that. So hopefully you got more than that on there. But I know some 100-pound lines are thicker than others, so depending on what you put on there. But yeah, that should be enough line. One of the things that you are more concerned with, not so much with if you drop down and you hook a big fish. Although, I mean, anything can happen. Guys have gotten spooled on bigger reels than that with more line, but pretty rare. But one of the things you'd probably be concerned with, and maybe you want to take some with you, is if you get into one of these tangles like I'm talking about,
Yeah.
you could lose 150 yards easy, because you could be down 400 feet waiting for a bite, and guy comes across with a hooked fish and saws you off. So it does happen, and so be mindful that 450 yards is fine. I would prefer to have a little bit more just because there are a lot of tangles at night. But if you're clean and you stay out of tangles, you should be fine.
All right, perfect. Once again, fishing really starting to come together, but we are dealing with some wind here, it looks like, for the next day or so. Depending upon where you find yourself, it may be okay. Looks like Catalina might be okay, and some of those areas up north look like it got kind of windy, and offshore it's breezy out where the boys are fishing bluefin tonight. We'll see if they're able to put a night together. Sounds like it's going to be pretty breezy, but it's been biting nails out there, so hopefully that is going to continue. All right, thoughts on the True Line out of 22nd Street Landing? I can opine on that, or you want to? Great crew, great
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
beautiful boat.
I love the boat. Yeah. I mean, it's got huge bunks, big galley, super comfortable boat.
It
man.
is.
I like that boat a lot.
Yeah, John's a great guy, and the rest of the crew, the guys on there, they do a fantastic job. I love the True Line. We had a coworker at Orange County Fairgrounds. Her son, unfortunately, passed away, and he wanted to be buried at sea. And we did it on there, and James was one of the deckhands. I mean, he was in tears because Terry, who buried her son that way, she was so lovely about it, but they were so caring, if you know. I mean, these are a bunch of fishermen.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And then they just flip the switch. They could see this is a mom and brother and family in grief, and it was a beautiful experience. I shot a video out there because Terry asked me to do that, and it's really a beautiful thing. So it's nice to see a crew that can not only be great at fishing, but when it comes time to be carrying like that, really, really good stuff. Joel Lopez, what artificials work best on the WSB? That's the white sea bass. I'm thinking of getting. I wonder if the sea bass would bite that thing. They probably would, huh?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Especially the bigger size. I mean, but maybe even this size too. But I mean, definitely that bigger size, I think, would be a good contender for that. Good weight too, and good size.
Yeah, Joel's thinking about getting some of the heavier hookup baits. I saw someone catch one on the Freedom using a mint hookup bait. What do you think about those?
For sure. I mean, once the sea bass start kind of like switching over to fin bait, we have a lot of kayakers, a lot of customers that are kayakers that come through and use that 1 ounce mint specifically. I don't know what it is about that mint, but for sure, I have a lot of those guys that buy those like every week. And these guys are religious kayak guys. And, when you're kayak fishing, you're kind of committed, to try to catch some fish. For us, we go on a sport boat, we kind of have a good time, have a burger and a beer, and, just kind of waste the day away. But a kayaker has to kayak and paddle out there. So they've got some commitment. And those guys want to make sure that the tackle that they're taking, and not only that, they can't take as much tackle because they're on a kayak. And it seems like by and large, the guys who are targeting sea bass always buy that 1 ounce mint hookup bait. I don't know what it is about it, and we've had guys come
obviously
through.
Work, right?
Yeah, we've had guys come through with pictures, 30, 40, 50 pounders. I mean,
wow.
Giant sea bass, coastal sea bass, obviously the kayakers, but that stuff really works.
That's great. That was Joel Lopez. Zachary Chin, that's our sculpin guy, wants to win the jackpot. Do you prefer a long mono top shot or heavy braid with a short leader for surface iron fishing?
Long mono top shot myself. Yeah, I even though I love fishing the iron and I do it a lot, I just honestly haven't put the time in to try to really learn the nuances of casting straight braid. And so I'm kind of stuck in the old school of straight mono. So I do fish Spectro with the 120 or whatever so yard top shot is what I do.
Hey, great show tonight, Sam. You're doing fantastic. Looks like half of the next questions are Scott Buchert, so we may be able to run through some of these really fast. Scott's great. He said chicken and pizza. And did I tell you get a foot massage when you get outside tonight too?
I didn't know about that.
He's giving that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He's waiting outside right now?
Yeah, he's out there. We're not going to let him in here, are we? Ruin the show. And all of you, thanks, man. You guys are making this show so great. Up over 100 viewers all night long. Appreciate it. This show will go to 1,000 and above that fast in the archive. So thank you all for making this so possible. All right, Tim Marquez, evening, Phil and Sam. What line size and type do you recommend for the Daiwa Fuego 2500 for local surf fishing?
20 pound braid.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a couple of different brands, and some guys like one brand or another, but by and large, with those reels, when we fill them up for guys, it's 20 pound braid.
Scott Buchert, what is a boss? We have to answer all of Scott's questions with gentleness. Yes, we have to be very, very nice. What is a Boss Magnum 870N good for?
870 narrow. So that's kind of a, like a 501 size, so to speak. And that's going to be like your 25 pound. I would say 25 pound live bait. That's what I'd use that for.
All right, perfect. Zachary Chen, I've heard that 80 pound braid casts pretty well with lures.
Yeah. The guys who do cast the braid are almost always casting 80 pound braid. And by and large, those guys are casting Power Pro. For whatever reason, I don't know, because it's stiffer. Maybe it comes off the reel a little easier, doesn't backlash as much possibly. But I know that the guys who do it, I'm not one of them, but the guys who do it fish 80 pound Power Pro by and large.
All right, now here's a couple of Scott Buchert questions. Just take my word for it. Just smile and shake your head at these ones, okay? So here's one. Blackfish is at.
And it is.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yep.
Scott. That's a great question.
Yeah, and here's another one. At cat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, black.
for sure.
I do know what he's saying. This is the yacht Blackfish.
Oh, yeah.
Down out of Davies Locker. Mitch runs that.
Yeah.
And a couple other great guys I met at the.
Those guys did good the other day, right?
They had 5 sea bass for 6 guys, so
yeah.
one short of limits, and they were nice fish. So, that was a good question, Scott. Yeah, thank you. Andre Petway wants to know, are the Albacore coming this year? Well, everybody knows. I say they are. No, come on.
Yeah. 100%.
Do you really believe it?
No. No, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know, man.
It's a big giant maybe.
Yeah, I know. It's Andre, I'm going to go with my friend Mike McDaniels from the Sea Adventure 80. He said when he goes out to the San Diego bait receiver, all he sees is sardines right now. When he goes out there and he sees just the anchovy, he's going offshore and putting the jigs in the water.
So what you're telling me is that when the albacore show up, you're going to predict the albacore.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You're
Hey,
waiting
they're
till
here. I
That's
told you.
easy. That's easy. Yeah.
Scott says he's got a $200 bet with me on this. I thought it was $150, but
Inflation.
all right, Scott, you're on. I'm going to wipe you out. Jeff Fuchs. Thanks, Sam, for answering my questions. You rock. Wild Willie, evening, Phil and Sam, just joining in. Great to have you with us. Thanks, Phil, for always being here for us. Fisherman says, Jeff, thanks for being here for us. You guys, we really appreciate it. All right, Scott Grant. Scott's a lawyer, so be careful how you answer this. You know how lawyers are. You know, what's that old joke? What's 500 lawyers at the bottom of the sea? You know what that is? A good start. Yeah, I think that's it. Sorry, Scott. Just kidding. With a 500-gram knife jig, 17.637 ounces, avoid line twist for deep water rock fishing than a traditional dropper loop 1 pound setup.
No.
That's like a lawyer, actually.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, 100% will not. You know, you got to have. The only way to really cut it down is to add a swivel somewhere. But yeah, any jig, even any lure with weight down there, just the fact that there's going to be current pushing on it is going to twist around somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really no way to avoid that completely.
All right. Scott's looking for a discount now. Do you have the wide boot in
Yes.
10?
Yes, actually we do.
Okay. We do, Scott. Do you want me to get you one tonight? Let me know.
Just one boot.
Yes, which one, the left or the right? Which one do you want? Fish Guy, great show, guys. David Jimenez, should I shrink wrap tuna cord before using Duran's clamps?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you really don't have to, One of the things about those Duran clamps is that they use a little bit wider clamp, and basically it's grabbing a little bit more of the handle. And so one of the reasons you would have to do that with, if you didn't have that clamp, was that if you had a skinnier clamp, it has a hard time kind of like grabbing the handle and it'll slip around when you try to tighten it.
Yeah.
Whereas that one doesn't. So with the Duran clamp, you don't have to. It doesn't hurt if you do, but most of the times you should not have to.
All right, we're an hour and a half into this great show, 120 with listeners right now, and we got a lot of questions to go. You're not going
to try your boots on.
Yeah, you want me to do that on camera?
Yeah,
I'll do that. Yeah.
We'll wait for a commercial here.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end of the show.
Okay.
Stay tuned, everybody. I'll be trying those boots on and letting you know just how they really feel. That's going to be fantastic TV, right? All right. Yeah, right. Tony Russo, Pen Fathom low profile is pretty small too, he says.
Yeah.
Jeff Hughes, Sam, do you like the Cast King reels? Are they any good?
I know that they're kind of a budget Amazon brand reel. They definitely are not the same as these reels that we showed you earlier. As far as what I've seen, they're not as durable, but they're more of an entry-level reel. I'm pretty sure to get started, if you needed something to get for someone who's just getting started, didn't want to spend a lot of money, they'd be okay. But overall, I haven't seen that they're the same quality as what we just showed you.
Dan Smith on a previous question says, thank you, Sam. You answered the question. What a great show. Red Pill. Hey, Sam, I have a new Gen Pen 40.
Gen 2, probably.
Gen 2 40. Oops.
Oh, you erased everything.
Oh, I got it. What is that? 4?
Yeah, it's at 42 speed, yeah.
All right.
And
I'm curious on what rod you would pair it with. I've seen Steve Carson recommend a 40 to 100 pound rod for that reel, but I'd like to get some other opinions. Before you answer, Steve Carson, did a podcast with him out at Bass Pro. What a fun guy, knowledgeable.
Super knowledgeable.
Great presentation.
Yeah.
Steve, if you happen to tune in, thanks, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So on that rod there, that's probably he's recommending that Penn Carnage 3. They have a 40 to 100 rod. Really nice rod, actually. I think it's a 7.5 footer. And that'd be a good choice. It's like I was saying before, I think somebody else asked a similar question about that same reel. And it really depends on where that reel falls in your lineup. If it's going to be one of your heavier setups, like let's just say it's going to be your 2-day setup and they're catching, 80 to 120, 150 pound tuna, that would be the perfect rod. If you wanted it to do some other stuff like sea bass fishing, that rod would probably be a little bit heavy. You might opt for like more of a 30 to 80 8-foot rod. but definitely if it's going to be one of your heavier rigs, that 4100 is good from Penn. You can go with Phoenix. I think someone mentioned that Axis rod earlier. I think that was a jig stick, but you probably go with their 40 to 100. It'd be very similar action, and they have a 7'2", 7'8". They also have their hybrid. They have a 7'6" in that one. United Composite. They make a 7'6" Predator. That's probably the lightest rod, physically the lightest rod in that category. 50 to 100 on that one as well. Wow, there's a couple more out there. You know, obviously there's a CalStars 875 XH or double XH. The XH is rated 40 to 80. The double XH 50 to 100. And also too, which is a rod that I think we do have in stock right now, is the 800 double XH. Been kind of a popular rod lately. It's a little bit longer. It's an 8-footer, 50 to 100, and it kind of draws the line in between something that's not big enough for some stuff and too big. You can fish 60 or 80 pound on that rod. I've seen and heard fish caught up to 150 to 200 pounds on that rod.
Nice.
It's a very, very stout rod. It's our heaviest 8-foot graphiter in their kind of live bait series, but it's a heavy version. It's a double XH.
All right, very good. What a show. Great show. I'll remind you all, morning briefing tomorrow morning. I'll have all the very latest for you, as I do every single morning. Then tomorrow, we will have a live show at the Redondo Rod and Gun Club. Danny Cadota will be doing his thing, and Bill Wilkerson from the Malahini and Horizon Sport Fishing will be joining us. 51 Soriano says, hey, good to see you guys. Great to see you. How much are those handles, Sam? I would like to switch up the one on my reel, Talica 25 2-speed, I think.
Yeah, I think it's here it's $75 for the handle. I think we charge like $85 altogether, you know, putting it on from. Sometimes you need some other screws with it. Depends on the reel, like the version you have. I know they're 25s, but every once in a while you need a few different screws on there. They're not very expensive, but you're looking at around 80 and $90, depending if you want it installed by us or not.
51 Soriano. He also says, thank you, very polite gentleman. Thank you very much. Pegasus going Friday night out of Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Several other guys. The Queen's been hot. The Polaris Supreme's been hot. The boys are starting to get on that fish. I'm excited about that. Greg Sheridan. Greg says, good evening, Phil and Sam. Greg, great to have you with us. Sniper Gene. On my big tuna setup, Makyra 20 with 130 hollow core, should I go straight to the bite leader or should I have some mono for shock absorption?
For shock absorption, I probably would just go straight to the bite leader. I don't really feel like you need it. You got super heavy line. As long as you got hooks to support the shock, you know, big, you know, assist hooks and things like that, I would say that you're okay going straight to a bite leader. One of the things I do like about a mono top shot, not necessarily for shock, but for warning that your bite leader is coming up and your swivel is about to hit your tip.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So I do put on myself, I'll put on, you know, call it 50 feet of 100-pound mono, but it's not for stretch, not for shock. It's really so I don't jam that swivel right into my tip.
Okay, that's a good tip. Let's see, we've got 1911 Nate, Phil, and Sam checking in late, but thanks for all the great tackle and useful info. Jeff Fuchs, Daiwa Electric from the Bart Hall show was awesome to see. Nate says, as someone planning their first boat trip longer than a half day, do you recommend waiting until the tuna bite gets hotter?
Well, tuna fishing on a 3/4 day boat is kind of like tough to really schedule. I don't know if you meant a 3/4 day.
No,
trip
I
or
think
not.
he's going to go longer than a half day. So I think he's probably talking about an overnight, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I would.
definitely if you want your first time to be your, you know, a better chance at hooking some, but you know, unfortunately, everyone knows when that is, and so those trips are pretty booked. You know,
Yeah.
so for right now, I wouldn't wait to book. What I would just do is maybe book ahead.
Right.
You know, book a trip out in May, June, July, August, even something like that.
September,
You're good all the way from, I would say, from June through October. It's a pretty big window. So, what I wouldn't do is wait till book until then, because you're going to find that you're going to have a hard time finding a free spot. So, if you can look on their schedules now, get on some waiting lists or whatever for those times that time of year, you're going to find that that's what you want to do to even get on a trip.
Nelson DG, what's a good surf fishing reel that you recommend? I love the Daiwa Fuego with the mag seal. Works really good for me. What do you recommend, Sam?
Yeah, that Fuego is a good value.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of those. That 2500 size is a good one. But anything on the 2500 size, there's kind of two rules of thumb that you want to kind of take into account with picking a reel. Either number one, you buy something that is so good, that's made for surf fishing, that has a lot of seals, that's going to keep all the water out, and it's going to give you a lot of life in the surf. And those reels are going to cost you, $300 or so, something like that at least, and there's some that even cost more.
Yeah.
Or you buy a reel that is just nice and smooth, and that Fuego is a good one. And maybe get something like that is a little cheaper, so that if it does have issues with salt, with the sand and the salt, you don't feel so bad about it breaking down. And sometimes people feel like, well, I never dropped my reel in the water. It's not really the sand that's your feet are in. It's really more the sand that's in the air that you can't even see.
Yeah,
it just
right.
accumulates on your reel.
It does.
And for the best as you try to clean that thing, there's always going to be some residual sand in there that
That's
you just
right.
can't get it out. So that's something to consider. But that Fuego is, I think, probably the best value, and it's such a smooth reel. It feels like a $500 reel.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
does.
such a nice reel.
It
so,
is.
You should get at least a year out of it, I would think.
Oh,
if
I've
not,
gotten way more than that.
yeah, if not more, with it feeling like brand new. So just take care of your reel. That Fuego 2500 is a nice one.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Rocket Dog is talking about the 3 Baitcasters, and he says the Okuma might be the least useful because of the clicker and the non-disengaging level wind, limiting your casting distance. Steve Bermudez, what not for braid to braid?
A double uni. That's probably the most common knot. Yeah, double uni.
Jeff Fuchs, Daiwa Tanacom 1000 Power Assist Electric Reel. Is this any good? Is that a good electric reel?
Yeah. So that 1000 is they have an old 1000, and then the new one is a 1200. But the new one is supposed to be a little bit better, stronger motor. But that 1000 is good. I mean, most guys are trying to look for that 750, which is kind of like their in-between size. And the 750 will hold more than enough line. But if you have 1000, that'd be good too. You probably hold more than you need with that reel.
Arturo Jacinto says the LA Rod and Reel Club, they're having a swap meet at Bob Sands parking lot, April 16th, next Sunday. There you have it, everybody.
Okay.
Jeff Fuchs says they look like bucktails. Maybe that one jig you had there. June Z, when spooling an electric reel, do you use the reel's own motor or the line winder?
The line winder.
You do?
Yeah. We don't really have a battery that we can connect to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. If a guy had his own electric reel, would you recommend he spool on his, or is he going to have a problem with that? Or?
Yeah, I don't know how much torque they have as far as putting line on, but I'm pretty sure they have enough torque for sure. You'd have to hook it up to a battery that would last long enough, because I guess if you had the right kind of, because they have the little gator clips for hooking up to probably a car battery or something like that. But yeah, if you can't get to a tackle shop, you should be able to wind it on its own power.
All right. Wild Willie is talking to Jeff Hughes, saying his sons and him picked up 4 of the Tanacom 1000 for $600 each cash. Show special at the Pacific Show back in March. Albert Ponce, who's a great guy, or Ponce, right? Mm-hmm. Good evening, fellas. Love you, Albert.
Good evening.
Miss you. Jeff Fuchs, nice. Wild Willie, he's telling him thank you. Peter Cepeda, I got my 450 yard on my Metallica from you guys, multicolored braid, but not sure if it's Power Pro should be enough line.
I thought we had put 130 on his reel, but no, I don't remember. If it was the 100, it was probably the Asia line, because that's what they have. And I know that stuff's a little bit thicker for sure.
The corpse is with us tonight. Brandon, it is Easter, right? So
Easter,
he's
yeah.
risen.
Yeah,
The corpse
he
is up. It's good to see that. Hey, Sam, if that albacore pops up, can you get a hold of the tackle we will need quickly? Thanks for the answer. Yeah, like number 2 and 4 hooks.
Yeah. hook and mono, yeah.
Yeah, right.
You can look for that, yeah.
And a sliding 8 or whatever.
Yeah. With some feathers.
That's
some
one of the things,
feathers.
Brandon, that, and he's talking, but I mean, my brother and I, when we fish on the Searcher, had our tackle box in our pocket.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
That's kind of one of the old adages with albacore fishing, is you can show up to the landing with no tackle, buy a pack of hooks and a couple of split shots, and you'd be good. You know, rubber core sinkers, and you'd be good. Yeah.
Tom Rothery, and he did it over and over again. I used to laugh at it. He goes, I can fish out of a trash can. And he'd go to the trash can, and then see a hook,
Yeah.
get it, clip it, and he'd see it, you know, then he'd fish with it, and it was funny, man. Tommy used to run the Polaris Frame. Great guy, dear friend of mine. I need to go by and see him again here really, really soon. All right, Jeff Fuchs. Sam, I'll be down there soon to come and see you at the tackle shop.
Come on down.
Joe Surwald, do you have any new casting reels, tranks, that have the newer and more forgiving in the cast mode level wind? Not the narrow guide. And how about that sexy new colored Nomad Mad Mac? I'm losing my mind. Hey,
So-
we're getting, are we, I don't know. We're getting down here pretty good.
So I
we
think
got money rolling in.
There you go.
Well,
Came
we're
to the
gonna
good part.
Talk about that in a second.
So I think on the reel, he might be talking about the Daiwa, not the Tranks, unless I'm missing something on the reels here. But let me go show you that. Go get that reel. You can show him the new color.
Yeah. Is this
Oh, the
color, wow,
red-
that's pretty.
Red bait.
There it is, everybody, the new Mad Max. When did these become available, Sam?
Yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you have a whole bunch?
Yep.
And you've got these larger models like this, right?
I got them all sizes: 130, 160, 200, and 240.
What do these go for? $60?
$1 million.
$1 million? That's it? Oh, man.
No.
Let me check my lottery ticket, see
Yeah.
if I can afford it.
But yeah, they range from like 30 to 60 bucks,
Yeah.
depending on the size. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the new color. One of the things that's kind of interesting about this one here, kind of more interesting to as a fisherman, not necessarily to the fish maybe, is that as you can see here, you can see the weights inside. So you can see how
Oh,
they
yeah.
weighted it. Yeah. So I'm interested to see if that's going to add a little bit of flash. It's kind of like a chrome on
It
the
looks
weights.
kind of
there.
like it will, huh?
Yeah, kind of
That
cool
looks
looking.
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. Now this here, I'll show you here. So normally when you cast, you know, you put that in the free spool there. The line comes out of the line guide, you know, so you put that in there. With this one here, it's called a T-wing. So this T-wing here, the same thing, you're winding the same thing, just like that. But when you go put it in a free spool, you'll see that the line guide opens up. If you can see that.
Yeah.
So it's bigger.
Right.
So basically causing less friction.
Yes.
I don't know if you'll be able to see that on the camera very good. Turn the handle and you'll be able to see that it gets smaller or kind of closes.
Where the hell do you turn the hand? Oh, there we go.
And then when you push the button there, the lever,
Yeah.
it opens up. So what that does is that it opens up the entry or the exit of the line and making it so you have a lot less friction.
Yeah.
So this is the T-wing, the Lexa T-wing from Daiwa.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot what the question was. We do have it. But
You got me modeling this. So I
yeah,
can't read
yeah,
it for
yeah.
you.
I don't know if the reel was sexy or the lure was sexy. Oh yeah, it was the lure.
I think it was me.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
But yeah, so we do have it. Yeah, this is the Lexa T-wing. It's been out for maybe 2 years now, and they have them in all sizes. Well, 300 and 400, which are the saltwater sizes, but we do have them in stock.
All right. Isaac wants to know your thoughts on braid on an Abbott HX Raptor, 80 or 100. That's a quick answer.
Probably going to be 100 on the Raptor. Yeah, 100.
All right. Steve Bermudez wants to answer Scott's next 4 questions in advance. No, 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 no.
All
Thank
right.
you, Steve. I'm all for it. Wild Willie, Jeff Fuchs, we hooked them up to the boat for power. We've been playing around with them, loaded them with 100-pound braid. They seem to work well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the real electric
wheels.
reel.
Yeah.
Yeah. 51 Soriano, who's a great guy, says David Rosenthal. Do you got the address or location of the Brea swap meet? Maybe he'll put that up. Primo, buenas tardes. No, it's noches ahora, ¿verdad?
Noches.
Buenas noches, hermano. How would you set up a Phantom 40 reel to troll for yellowtail around Catalina? And what lure would work best?
I'd probably put 80-pound braid and maybe some 50 or 60-pound top shot, maybe about 50 yards or so. As far as the lure, I mean, you can't go wrong with the Rapala. I mean, it's been out for 100 years.
That's
You know,
got to be the best. For
Yeah,
that
they
kind-
work
for
really
yellows.
good. Yeah. And they have those deep diver lures in the size 20 and 30. They call them X-Wraps. That'd probably be the most common lure, probably caught more yellowtail in the history of trolling for sure. I know a lot of guys are talking about fishing these Nomad lures. They are They have a small size, that 130 size, a real small size, that'd probably work okay.
Yeah.
Maybe so if you want to get a little deeper, they're a little heavier. And then also Nomad does make a DTX and a 140 and a 160, which is about the same size as those Rapalas. And those DTXs are lip lure. Let me go grab those.
All right, go do that. And I will just, excuse me, read a comment from Dan Smith who says, Sam, we need copious amounts of anchovy. And Dan's not talking about on your pizza. He is talking about, of course, in the ocean's environment because it will suck that albacore in here. And we'll catch bluefin, albacore, and God knows what else. And how about 51 Soriano with a $10 bill for us? Thank you. Greatly,
Soriano,
greatly appreciated. And I mean that sincerely. It really, really helps us a lot when you folks give us a little hand like that.
So that's the Rapala there. That's the X-Rap 30. That's probably the most common size. They have one that's a little smaller. Here's the Nomad. As you can see, it's very similar size bill, size length here. It's the 165. And then there's a smaller Nomad, the DTX Minnow. But all three of them are real good. I mean, the 165 has single hooks on it. So if you're getting into a situation where maybe you're getting a lot of barracuda and things like that you want to release, that 165 Nomad does come with single hooks, although you could change out the hooks on the X-Rap, the Rapala, and solve that as well, but the other one's already done. But all three of them are good lures for that.
All right, very good. Christopher Martinez, 80-pound Power Pro is less sticky than others and casts pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, that must be why those guys use it. I know when we spool reels, you can feel that it doesn't stick to itself as much, and I'm sure it comes off the reel easier.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Albert Ponce, Sam, what are your thoughts on using snaps when throwing irons or poppers for a quick switch? And if it's a positive, what's the heaviest you would recommend using?
Well, I don't really use snaps for that. I know we talked earlier about those little paperclip style ones. One of the things about those paperclip style ones is that they are symmetrical, and that the lure is going to sit right in the middle of it. So I think that it doesn't really affect the swimming action too much on it. You know, as far as snap swivels, I know that traditionally we've always kind of said that they're no good for surface iron, stuff like that, and poppers. But you know, I mean, I guess you can give it a try. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, tying a knot is something that you should be able to do pretty quickly, and it doesn't really take as long as you would think. You know, but if you're gonna do it, I would say 40-pound test would probably be the heaviest. I would use that kind of system on, and using those paperclip style clips from either a Spro. I know the guy earlier mentioned Scientific Angler. That's another good lure, good clip. And then also the ones from Kicker Jigs, which we're going to be getting in real soon. And they work just the same good, too.
Yeah, excellent. 51 Soriano says, he's helping with the pizza, man.
There
That's
you
why
go.
he
There
threw
you go.
the $10. This show's going to go so late, we're going to need
to
another
buy
one.
some, yeah.
And so Isaac throws us a $20 bill.
Wow.
Isaac Parcells.
2
Isaac,
pizzas.
thank you so very, very much. Peter Cepeda, is there a way to check how many yards you have on your reel? Do I have to take to a tackle store?
You pretty much do. I mean, you know, I guess you could wind it off and measure it. Like, you know, you could probably measure if you have a yard, you know, that's big enough. You could measure out, you know, however long that is, and then just multiply it, you know, however many times you get that far. But unfortunately, the problem you're going to have is you're probably going to have to come to a tackle shop anyway, because you want to have that spectra put on tight, and so eventually you're going to have to come back anyway. So I would just recommend you come back and to the shop, and we'll take it off the reel and we'll put it back on, and on the machine we have a line counter, so we'll measure it as it goes back on.
Yeah, okay. Israel de la Cruz. Israel, great to see you here, my friend. Sam, do you think regulations will change in the future about being able to fish with more than 2 hooks? In Mexican waters, you're able to fish with 4 or 5 hooks. I didn't know you were able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I mean, you know, you're right on that. I would say right now in the foreseeable future, probably not. But if you are really concerned about that kind of stuff, which you should do, one of the first things you should do is join organizations like CCA. Those are the guys who are really lobbying for us, you know, up there where those laws are made.
Right.
And so,
Wayne
you know,
and Chris do a great job.
I know I was talking to those guys after the show, and they said we had a really good turnout as far as membership and life memberships. They sold a lot of life
They
memberships.
did at the Bart Hall show, right?
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, they had a hell of
And
a.
so that's really important. You know, it really shows, you know, that we as a community are committed to this. So whatever you can do to support CCA, become a member. You can do it online. You could do it at their next fundraiser. I think it's May the 20th, I believe, and the Compton Rod and Gun Club. You know, come down there and participate in that. It's actually a really nice event. They have a bunch of raffles and a lot of prizes and things like that. Besides the good food and just supporting CCA, but you know, support CCA and those types of organizations. That's really the only way that these laws get changed. Up to now, I would say not in the foreseeable future, but you know, that's where we make those changes is through those organizations.
They do great work. And one other thing, their taste in MCs is impeccable. Yes. Yeah. I think they get to the point where, hey, so-and-so canceled, call Friedman.
Yeah,
See if he can fill in. So I've been doing their events, and they're a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy doing that. All right. Joel sends us a $5 bill.
There you go, Joel.
Joel, you're number one. And he wants to know, I've never heard this question asked, but it's a good question. What's the prettiest reel out there? Just aesthetically speaking, what's a bitchin' looking reel?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of them that look good, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you can find beauty in all reels, I guess. I don't know. Try not to discriminate too much. I mean, you know, that Trinidad 20, Trinidad line of reels, that kind of like that soft silver, I guess, is pretty nice color. You can go back to the Macairas. I mean, that black Macaira is kind of a cool looking color.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of guys like that. I mean, Accurate, one of the things they're known for is making all these custom colors. I know that some guys have really gotten into collecting those. They make all kinds of really, really pretty colors, but I don't know if I have a strong answer for that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. Chris Martinez, Steve Carlson. You really struck a nerve, Phil. I don't know what that means. Maybe he doesn't like it, but
Maybe.
Steve Carlson, and I was calling, it's Steve
Carson.
Carson.
Yeah.
And so when I did the Bass Pro thing, I was calling him Steve, and then he's going, Carson, and I was like,
Well,
okay,
Carson,
and they're
yeah.
like, I'm sorry, sorry, Steve. I'm repeating it over and over again. Carson, Steve Carson. I got it. I'm not sure what Chris is talking about, but maybe we want to know.
it is, yeah.
Acme, hey Sam, any thoughts on the aluminum baits reel salty 150?
Oh, yeah. I haven't put one in my hands yet. I actually did see a frame from one. It's basically a small bait catcher. It's freshwater size 150, like you mentioned, and it's made out of CNC aluminum body and side plates. That's a pretty reel. If you want to talk about a pretty reel,
Is it?
Yeah, it's a really nice looking reel. I think it's something that up to now seems like it's done really well as far as first entering the market. I know that in the company's out of Texas, I believe. But I haven't put my hands on one. I haven't fished one. But just from looking at looking at the reel itself, it looks pretty dang solid.
That sounds good to me. All right, let's see. Isaac, Phil, can you pick me up a 12 wheelhouse boot? Of course I can, Isaac. I'm going to see you at Santa Ana River Lake, so I'd like to take them there.
The right or the left?
You want the right one or the left one? Because I think Scott's got the right one.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I can share, yeah.
All right. You know, he threw us a $20 bill. I'll bring
Heck
you
yeah,
whatever
man,
you
yeah.
want me to bring
Two
you.
boots.
Yeah. You're going to get two. Scott Buchert. Phil is the best actor on the show. What does
the
that mean?
best
I'm not
actor.
acting. This is the real me. What, am I a jerk normally and I'm being nice tonight?
Method actor.
I think, yeah. Scott is trying to be nice now because he's got me out looking for a job 24 hours a day for him.
yes.
So I'm going to be in San Diego pretty soon. Oh, Dan Smith. He's trying to. I thought I was the king with the 14 shoe. You know what they say? Bigfoot. Great voice. Yeah. And Dan says, do you have a wheelhouse boot in size 15?
Yes. If they make it, we got it. We got
Am I
them
bringing
all
you one
sizes.
too, Dan?
Yeah.
I'm going to have a whole truck full of boots tonight. They've got them. El Cid. Hey, Phil, this is Furman. Question for Sam. I'm building a custom UC9E. I'm interested in putting Fuji Toursight guides. Do you think they have better performance, smoother on mono than Fuji SIC? Worth it?
Well, I've seen the tests that they've done, and by definition, yes, they are smoother. Whether or not it's something that is really what they're designed for, the smoothness, as far as I understand it, was really more designed to be less abrasive on your line. You know, with a rod like that, you're probably using 40-pound test, so it's not as big a problem. I think it's really something that really illustrates what they're trying to do with light line fishing, something we use in 4-pound test or something like that, where that issue is kind of more of a problem or can be a problem.
Yeah.
I don't really see that being the big benefit on that rod. They're also lighter. They're made out of titanium. The rings are lighter. I mean, it's like the lightest guide on the market. So it is the highest performing guide, probably by a factor of 10 to 15%, but they cost like 10 times as much or something.
wow.
I don't know. Maybe not 10 times, maybe twice as much. I know that we did build a couple rods for a guy salmon fishing up north, and it was kind of critical for what he was doing because those big salmon with the current, they're going down current. A lot of heat that's created in the guides. But I think the guides alone for those 2 rods were something in the $800 range or something like that. It was crazy just for the guides alone. So to me, it is the best guide on the market for that specific performance feature. But I also think that it's maybe not exactly where you need to spend your money. I mean, I would say just the regular titanium SICs are pretty good, or just the regular SICs. The ring is really what you're looking for, and that blank isn't really that light, so you're not really going to gain a lot of lightness out of it. You're not really going to retain a lot of lightness out of it. The blank's not. It's a saltwater rod, a jig stick. It's not really a lightweight bass rod or trout rod.
Got it. I think, Furman, if my memory serves me, I'll see you May 3rd on board the Endeavor. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And we still have a couple spots. Send me a text. I'll send you the info if you want to grab, I think, 4 spots left. 657-227-6459. And I will be there to film that great trip. All right. Jason Steve Bermudez, first of all. Does Eiserline still make a deck boot? Are you okay? Are you still awake?
Yeah. More pizza.
2 hours now, I know.
No, they don't. As far as I understand, they don't anymore.
Jason Bollinger, the Mad Max are about to catch some fishermen. They do look nice.
Yeah. I mean, we can say all we want about all the colors and whether they catch fishermen or not, but there's no doubt in my mind that in the next month or so, these are going to be crazy. And everyone's going to be asking for these. And I ran out and I saw them on the show. And, when are you going to get more? Because they're going to catch fish. I mean, that's the whole deal is these lures catch fish. And so, yeah.
All right, perfect. Moving right along here, Tony says the Lexa TWT wing.
Yeah, that's the one we were showing earlier, yeah.
Brandon says, question for Phil and Sam. What's your favorite trolling lure for Albacore? Are you a daisy chain fan, cedar plug? What's your go-to trolling method lure? I just like a regular, for lack of a better word, an albacore feather.
Yeah,
with the pearl head.
Yeah.
Like they used to be. The albacore bite really well on feathers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, probably your day in, day out, if you wanted to pick a feather color, would be the Mexican flag. It'd probably be the most popular one, but a cedar plug works pretty dang good too. So I don't know if there's a go-to. I think that some guys get, when we had albacore part of our diet every day, there were guys that were into the trolling part of it, and they carried a whole assortment of lures, and that was kind of a thing. But I don't really see it being. You just got to have something like that in the water.
Okay, I don't know if this is true. I think Dan fished commercial albacore. I got to ask one of my commercial albacore guys because I never did. Some guy told me who worked on a commercial albacore, but that they trolled 2 colors, white and black and white. So I don't know if that's true. Maybe Dan would know the answer to that, or somebody's out there. Here we go. Steve Bermudez. Scott is the greatest.
He is the greatest.
He is the greatest. He sent us that food tonight. Naughty Boy 78. I bought a new Fathom 40 and was not impressed after unboxing it. I don't like the plastic cover. I can see grease under it, and that ain't good. Maybe I should have gotten the Torque.
Yeah, I mean it's something that I think that we talked about before, as far as some of the pieces being plastic that weren't plastic before. From what I've seen, I don't really see anything in there that I would be concerned with as far as the durability of it. The fact that they've changed the gearing on it, I think is a bigger benefit, and I think that's kind of a cool deal, and they put a bigger handle on it. The plastic pieces, yeah, you can make the argument that they've cheaped out on it a little bit, but to me, it's not a strong argument because it's not a piece that needed to be, metal. So I don't know. To me, I feel differently about that.
All right. All of you guys who are throwing money our way tonight, we deeply appreciate it. I'll be able to put gas in the car
All right.
on the way home. That's a
carry all
novel thing.
those boots.
Is Scott repeating himself? He's saying do you have the wide boots in 10? He's already asked this question.
He wants to remind you. He's reminding you.
I got it, Scott. Patrick Wilson, greetings. Mad Mac question. And then there's no question.
All right.
Israel De La Cruz. Phil, it would be awesome if an Albacore was landed on one of your trips. Israel.
Oh, my gosh.
It's all but going to happen. How many guys are on the beach and run into a Catholic nun in full habit walking by? Only me.
Only you.
Yes.
It's a sign.
Yeah, I know.
don't
There
know
was
what- I don't
another
know
something
what.
I found down at the beach earlier in the year too, but we won't talk about
Okay.
that. The Catholic nun, I'm going with her. That was great. All right, that would be great. Patrick Wilson, are you okay? Are you
Doing
still?
good. Keep going, man.
All right, man. Here we go. I'm trying to get move it up a little bit. We're over 2 hours. Hundreds of people watching tonight. Thank you so very much. Pushing us toward 2 million views. I never thought it would happen, Sam. Oh my God. I'm going to celebrate like you can't believe when we hit it. Do you use the stock split ring when replacing the back hook or replace it?
No, I use a stock one. Yeah, the stock one's good enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. What section of the Santa Ana Lake will you guys be meeting at this weekend? Dan, I'm not exactly sure, but there's going to be all kinds of signs. You can text me if you haven't written down Chuck's number. I'll give you that again. Text us. You can ask at the gate. They're going to know. I forget what the name of the part of the lake we're going to be at. I apologize to you. But yeah, just 657-227-6459. When you get there, send me a text or ask the guys there in the front. Where's the Redondo Rod and Gun, Friedman Adventures guys? And come over and have lunch with us, man. That'll be fun. Steve Bermudez, what lures do you throw for lightning trout?
That's you, man. You catch 'em
I'm
on-
I'm a lightning trout pro right now. Steve, well, we didn't go with lures this time. We went with what did we catch that on? What did I tell you?
Arbait, I think.
No, it was a
Mice tail?
inflated earthworm, or not an earth.
Oh, a nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Inflated night.
Yeah. I mean, nightcrawlers are still probably your best bait down there for sure. But a lot of guys do fish that mice tail.
They do. We
yeah.
caught some fish on that.
Yeah, mice tail, the power worms, the all those trout worms that Berkeley makes. I mean, even they make some tubes that are really popular. I know guys use those hookup baits as well. But probably by and large, that mice tail is probably the most popular one. I think.
And I'll refer you over to Kerry Gallegos. He did a great podcast with me from Santa Ana River Lakes, and he went through a lot. One of his big tips, I'm letting it out, but you can go watch his podcast, was that inflated night crawler tight to the beach, like 10 feet.
Wow.
He said those big ones cruise right up there, and that's where he
Interesting.
consistently gets those big fish.
There you go. That's a
So
big
don't
secret.
overcast,
I always thought it'd be the opposite.
Yeah, right. It's almost like for some people they don't get that about Corvina fishing. Like
Right,
you're
right.
way
They're
past
right
where
in there,
they're
yeah.
right there. You know,
can
they're
see 'em.
bumping into your feet.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, kind of thing. All right, Dan Bates, $10 from
All right,
Dan.
Dan.
Gosh darn it, Sam.
That's the man.
Dan, to you and your entire family, thank you very, very much. Chewy, and SoCal, El Nino year, local Wahoo maybe. So, like Sam explained earlier, we have these two weather phenomenons colliding. We have a La Nina producing extremely cold water this year, and then down in Peru right now, the water's as warm as it could be with an El Nino brewing down there around the equator. At some point in time, like you said, it's going to go like that,
Yeah,
and
Who knows?
I don't know, man. I mean, back in the day, we would have Albacore offshore, go out to the 60, go out to the fly, shroom, the 10-10 trench, all that. And then on the beach, you go down there and catch Dorado, yellowtail. Who
Same
knows?
day, yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
day. Or, the guy running the boat would say to you, what do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
You want to go down the beach and catch, tropical stuff, or do you want to, what am I doing? Kicking the
You're
table
good.
over?
Yeah, you're gonna knock over our table.
I just want the
Hold it
free
down.
away. Get this in here a little better.
You're the one knocking. You're
I know.
like 2 feet closer than we started.
I got it. Yeah,
Excited.
why am I doing that?
I don't know.
Yeah, why don't you tell me? Sam, have you ever seen or heard of hooks made from titanium? Wild Willie wants to know.
Trying to think. I feel like I have. No, but can't really put my finger on it. Nope, not that I can think of.
All right, you guys are very generous tonight. We appreciate everything. Tim Marquez says, how much would you charge to mark line at 100-foot intervals? Me? Oh, heck, I'd do it for, that's you, I guess.
Yeah.
I need the money, so go ahead.
So what we do is we'll do it every 100 feet for 400 feet. And every time we put a mark on, so every next 100 feet is more marks. So the 200 feet is 2 marks, 300 feet is 3 marks, 400 feet is 4 marks. One of the things about it is it doesn't take a lot of work to put the mark down, but you have to let the thing sit there for a while so that the ink dries as much as possible. So what that creates is kind of a little bit of a backup where that machine gets kind of tied up and we can't do other people's reels. So if a guy drops out 4 reels to get marked, I mean, that might be a couple hours before we do every reel because of the drying time between the marks. So what we do, we charge $30 a reel, and it's really more just because it takes time up on the machine. You know, we can show you how to do it. It's pretty easy, but it's just going to take you some time. And we recommend you do it that way so that you make sure that the line dries. And if you don't, what ends up happening is that the line will bleed into itself, and you'll end up with like 45 marks or something like that, and you kind of back to square zero.
Okay, very good. Patrick Wilson. I've never fished for wahoo. I have an 8-day trip on the Shogun in September. What bombs do you recommend or other lures you recommend throwing? I need to stock up before the trip. Patrick, before Sam answers that, when you go on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, you can search wahoo video or wahoo whatever it is with Sam De La Torre. You did a whole thing on it.
Yeah.
So he's going to answer that, but you can get further information there, my friend.
Yeah, the catchy tackle bombs is kind of where I start. JR has those his bombs as well. And the two basic differences, let me go grab those real quick.
All right, Sam's off. Don't forget, you can catch us at Santa Ana River Lakes this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2. Even if you don't have kids, you just want to come over and have lunch with the guys from the Redondo Rod and Gun Club. They're really fantastic guys. I get to say thank you to you for all of your great support. I mean, when I came back from China, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and then started this podcast, and all thanks to your great support, it's all really coming to fruition. We've got a lot of big plans, so it'll be a great time. So come out to Santa Ana River Lakes. You'll find us out there. Buy some raffle tickets. You can buy raffle tickets this Thursday at the Redondo Rod and Gun Club, which I think is tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Yep.
Or you can send Chuck and bug him right now a text, 310-918-1448. And keep that so when you get to the lake, if you can't find us, you'll be able to find us then. Yes, sir.
All right. So as far as bombs are concerned, there's two basic types. You got this catchy tackle guy here. And that's kind of a through wire bomb where the actual wire that you're going to be, the leader, is going to be going through the lure. It also already has, you know, a wire leader already kind of rigged up with a swivel. So all you're going to do is tie your mono right to that swivel. It's good to go. Take it right out of the package, you can fish it. So that's good. The next one here is going to be, hope you guys can see it in the package here, I think you could, is the one from JRI, which is a type of lure that's been around for a lot of years. The guys used to make them out of like a 4-ounce torpedo sinker. Captain Jimmy Bombs was a lure that was around for a few years that was really popular like this. And you would wire that guy up. But also, what guys have been doing, and talk about it in the video, is that they would put like a 130 or 150 pound fluorocarbon leader on these, and they get bit really, really good at times. At times it seems like that fluorocarbon leader makes the difference. And so that allows you to rig it that way. The other thing you're going to be doing is like just these kind of chrome or gold colored jigs. This is a Raider, which these are kind of been harder to get lately because the price of the raw materials went way up. So Rick Ozaki, the guy who makes the Raider jigs, he actually couldn't make them this year. So whatever's out there on the market is all you can get for the time being. Taddy made these Y2s, which has kind of been around for a long time in
That's
gold.
been around forever, right?
Yeah, but you know, we just put a Siwash hook on it for wahoo.
Yeah.
And that'll work just as well. And you can rig those up the same way. You can put wire or that heavy fluorocarbon leader on those.
Yeah. All right, very good. Let's see. Dave Clark, Phil, when are you going to be in San Diego? I think I'm going to be down there Tuesday, Dave. I'm not positive, though, but I think that's when I'm going to be there. Israel wants to know, Sam, any thoughts on the Van Stahl reels, and do you carry any?
I don't. I know those are kind of your like super buff, like super surf fishing reels from the East Coast. They're the way that they're designed, they're impervious to the salt water and the sand. I mean, They were actually designed on the East Coast there, as far as I understand it. I've seen some videos. I've never done it myself, but where they go fish for stripers, and they'll go out. There'll be like a rock, let's say 20 or 30 yards off the beach. Well, they tie their tackle and their rod and reel to their back, and they swim out to that thing.
Oh.
And so they'll swim out in the salt water to that rock and fish off that rock, and then swim back with the fish. So obviously that reel has to undergo that swim. And so they were designed specifically for that fishery, from what I understand it. So they're super, super tough and impervious to that salt water. Is what they're made for.
Like a mag seal, or better than that? It sounds,
Better than that, yeah.
it sounds better than that, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's the most saltwater proof reel, I guess, that anybody makes.
Yeah.
So I know it's a super high quality reel. I don't know anybody that stocks it out here on the West Coast. We don't do that kind of fishing quite like that. But that would be an answer for if you have that concern.
All right. Face Too Much OG. Is $200 a good asking price for an older used CalStar 90J? I don't really know the used market for jig sticks.
I mean, kind of not really. I don't know. They're
It's
not
a little
that,
high?
Yeah, I mean, I can see how much one is regular price. The price has gone up the last couple of years, and so you have that going for you.
Yeah.
In a way, but I don't know how expensive they are. I mean, brand new.
Can you guys still hear Sam, by the way? I hope you
Yeah.
can. I think, yeah, keep going, Sam. He's over there grabbing a rod.
new
Don't forget, at the end of tonight's show, Phil Friedman will be trying on the, whatever the name of those boots are. What is it?
Wheelhouse.
The Wheelhouse. Who makes them?
Extra tough.
Extra Tough. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, you couldn't find one?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
So the going rate on those 330 on a brand new one. So I guess $200 isn't too bad. If it's in brand new shape, it'd be a good deal for somebody.
Okay. Arturo Jacinto just threw us $5.
Heck yeah, man.
Arturo, mil gracias, hermano. Dan Smith, Phil, when I was fishing commercial albacore, see, we're going to get the answer.
There we go.
Dan Smith's the man. On the jig boat and even on the bait boat, we trolled white feathers, green and yellow, purple, and black. That covered most all conditions. So it was quite a bit more. Steve Bermuda says, you're lucky that Catholic nun wasn't Mary's sister. Okay, why? It's a big deal. Brandon is back, the corpse. People take that albacore trolling serious. Do you guys ever use daisy chains, Dan Smith, or no?
I never have, but I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
People catch fish on it.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Brandon, I honestly think that albacore are going to bite most anything you drag back there.
Pretty much. I mean,
They're-
they're not
not
too
that picky.
No, they're like Bonita or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, another great guy I haven't seen for a while, Abraham Esparza. Sam, we used knife jigs, no squid, for rockfish in Ensenada last month. It looked like a candy cane red stripe fast jig, 2 hooks, maybe 300 grams. Do you carry anything similar?
Yeah, definitely. I know we got some stuff from, who was it? Maybe Nomad. It's got some of the red stripe stuff, and I know we got a few other ones. We got like 10,000 knife jigs over there. I know we got a couple over there.
We're getting close, man. What are we? 2.5 hours into this, but we're almost there. We're doing good. You're doing good. Tony, Sam, do you know if you can change the gears from the new Fathom 40H 2-speed to the old Fathom 40H 2-speed?
I believe you can. I didn't talk to him specifically myself, but one of the guys there said they talked to Eric Sheets from Cal Sheets 2-speed, and they mentioned to him that they are interchangeable, that the gears are interchangeable, and so you'd have to go out and buy the gears and do it. But from what I understand, it's not that hard to do if you're mechanically inclined, but so you wouldn't be able to do it at all. But
Thanks. Well, it is a recognition. I am terrible at that.
if you're gonna shine, right?
That's not how I'm shining.
But yeah, from what I understand, they do interchange, and I think it's in all the sizes. You can put one from one size to another, even. So pretty interesting to see what guys come up with.
All right, perfect. Dan Smith says to Brandon, we didn't use that, but I'm sure it would work. Ken W. Hey, Ken, how are you? Phil, what is your favorite beach for Corvina? I'll tell you, one of my, so where I live, Surfside is good, in the summertime. Down by the Huntington Beach Pier is a really good spot. But man, when the kids were small, and it's still really good, that Topaz Rock Jetty,
Yeah.
and down by the old Redondo Pier, it was instant when the kids, before they go to high school, they went to Bishop, So it's right down the street, and I'd take them corbina fishing in the morning before they went to school. And it was really good, and it still is. That's a good spot. And then you get down toward El Segundo, and there's some pretty good fishing down that way also, like with the planes pretty much flying over your head. That's a good area for a variety of fish. There's been some good bar perch fishing up there also, Ken, here recently. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want to look at where those sand crabs are too.
That's very true.
You know, that stuff seems to kind of like migrate for some reason. Like you'll see a lot in one area, then you won't see them the next year. But if there's a lot of sand, that's what they're eating is the sand crabs primarily. But if you see a lot of sand crabs, that's probably a good spot.
Naughty Boy 78, the plastic cover on the Pin Fathom 40 covers the main gears. They are basically open to the atmosphere. I just checked. I have to silicone it for a quick fix.
And once again, I don't see there being much of an issue with that. I mean, with Penn, you know, the big company they are, I just don't see them missing on it, you know. But I could see where if it's a concern for you, it's an easy fix. You know, a little bit of silicone in there. I would make sure it's dry so it doesn't get into your gears or bearings or nothing like that. But that would probably be an easy, you know, remedy for if you have that concern.
All right, Brandon says, hey, Phil, Sam, and also you, Dan, how do we keep albacore around the boat? Back in the day, it was always a 15-minute bite, and we had to get to chasing them again. They never stuck with the boat like yellowfin tuna. Well, sometimes they do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been in 300-fish albacore stops. Yeah. One thing is, the reason why guys, commercial guys don't seine albacore is because they don't dense up like bluefin.
Right.
Albacore are more like spread out. And so I think it's the nature of the beast. It's the way they travel. They don't travel in those real dens. But every once in a while, man, they're there. And, you know, chumming is... you know, I've been screamed at by guys because when you get on the tanks and you're a kid, you want to start brailing it. And they'll tell you, hey, ones, twos, right there in the corner. And then train them to be there. So when somebody walks back there and casts, they're going to get bit.
And sometimes they are, too. They're like waiting for you right there.
They are, man, if you train them right.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean,
same thing. I mean, it's like all tuna. Sometimes they stick with the boat, sometimes they don't. But I have seen them stick with the boat plenty of times.
Yeah. Some really crazy bites. All right. Emilio Escobar. Hey, guys, how's going? What about the new Nomad Mad Max 130 for casting? How's it going, and what about those for casting? Well, great question, Emilio.
It's a new size this year, so I can say that we really haven't had any time to really try it out. The size of it would cast just fine. Let me go grab one real quick. And so I don't think that would be an issue. We'll have to see how viable that is coming up this season.
Yeah.
But definitely small enough here. The 160. Find one. I don't know how it's going to do. Here it goes right here.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. Ooh, that is a pretty little jig, man.
Came out of his package.
Did they sex these up, or is this the same as last year? These look really good.
Did they what?
Sex these up, you know.
I wasn't sure if I heard that right.
Never heard that before?
Not for a lure.
Scott says it to me all the time. Yeah.
You're sexing it up right now.
Yeah. It's getting late, man. I haven't eaten for, 20 minutes.
Wow, this thing is sexy.
It is.
No, yeah, I mean it's about as big as a jig.
The colors just look vibrant, man. They look
so that's
good.
a new color, yeah.
Yeah.
It caught you for sure.
Yeah, I did, man. I'm talking about sex already. Run in the other direction, everybody. Are you good now? Or yeah, that was it. You just wanted to show that, or
yeah,
am I moving on? Okay,
it's
perfect.
Moving along.
I'm losing it, man. And Steve says, "Mary Sister Penguin." From the Blues Brothers. You ever see the Blues Brothers?
No, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the nun beat the hell out of somebody. So I never had that experience in Catholic school, thank God. All right, Christopher Martinez, Sharkbait has Van Stallis.
Yeah.
Those are those.
Van Stalls, yeah.
Yeah, Van Stalls. Sorry about that. Okay, Dan Smith, whether you are fishing sport or commercial, the chummer and his knowledge is key to keeping albacore at the boat. But sometimes they just won't leave. Very good answer. Manny, awesome show tonight, guys. Joe Surwell, thanks, guys. You killed it tonight. It's starting to sound like we're finished here. You better run and get those boots so I can try them on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can't. Daniel Lightfoot, hey, Phil, this is Michael. Michael is one of the greatest kids I know. Michael, love you, man. Hope to see you, Dan, at the landing here really, really soon if you're still out there on vacation. Matt Pastel, Both of you are getting me pumped up for tuna fishing. Matt, thanks for being here tonight. Dan Smith, also, when you see albacore or any tuna, look at their tails. If their tails are beat up and shredded, they are swimming in pretty tight schools. Sometimes the bigger jig fish have clean tails. They're the scalps. Great stuff, Dan. That is awesome to share that. Emilio Escobar, LOL. Brandon, those are the first ones that come in, right? The clean-tailed albacore. So that's how we may know if they are coming or not this year. Sweet. Thanks, Phil and Dan. 51 Soriano's laughing his butt up. Charles Zimmer, does the Nomad surface iron S heart? What the F? I don't know what it is.
Now this is a sexy boot. If you're
Oh my God, sexy! I might have to go to a 15 here. Who knows? I only get one boot. Is that what I get?
We're gonna start with that. Where's this?
I don't think I can get it on.
Where's the Nomad?
There's the last question.
I don't see it there. Oh yeah, I swim well. What do you think? What do you think?
That is whoa.
Feel
That's
taller,
nice, man.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
It goes on easy, comes off easy.
Yeah. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Remember, I was telling you I don't like the short boot idea. I like this.
Yeah.
I like
we
it.
sell a ton of those. It's so. I mean, I think they need to come out with the tall just because.
Dude,
it's
I
part
need
the
a pair of those.
But isn't it so comfortable? It's like wearing your tennis shoes.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, they're wide.
Yeah, nice, man. I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to go with a tennis shoe
one-to-one?
and a boot on the way home.
It's a new style.
Cops are going to stop me and go, he's drunk. You know, how many guys dress like that? All right.
The jig, yeah. I haven't really fished it myself. I know it's a little heavier jig than the traditional surface iron jig. So I think, I don't know how well it's going to swim. I think it'll be good like for something like maybe for wahoo or something like that might be all right because you gotta wind it pretty fast to get it to swim.
You see how easy that came off?
I'm telling you, how many times have you been
Oh my
in
God.
the bunk room? Like, oh my God. You're like,
can't get
oh,
my
sorry.
boots off.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Or you got to go up and take them off up in the galley.
Yeah, right.
You go down with wet socks, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Those things come off so easy.
That's nice,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I really do like those.
Yeah. You
Why
can
don't
step right into it.
Yeah, look at that.
So that's the wheelhouse.
How many are the? I'm bringing home shoes for Isaac.
Yeah, you
and
got
Scott
about 3
Bucher,
pair, I
and
think.
Who
Yeah.
else?
For yourself.
Yeah. Hey, Isaac, what was that again? 12? I'm not going to go back to
One
all
of them
these
was a
questions.
15 and there was a 10.
Dan was the 15, but
Dan
he
was a
didn't ask
15.
to get it.
Isaac was a 12.
And then Scott's a 10 and a
10.
half, or
He's
what?
a 10.
Scott, what are you out there? Why
You know what he is. You know what he is.
Yeah, I can't say it in public. All right. Does the Nomad surface iron swim well?
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a little bit on the heavy side. It'd probably be a good wahoo jig. But, this might be a year to try it out.
Back to 30 questions. Man, I thought we were almost there, but I'm having too much fun. Face too much OG. I think the 130 would be another good lure to cast on foamers.
Yeah. I mean, I got to show the other kind of hot lure that's coming out.
All right, Tim
this
Marquez
year.
says, fishing Laredo in 3 weeks. What lures do you recommend for yellowtail, dogtooth, snapper, pintos, etc.? First of all, Tim, I'll probably let Sam mention that, although a variety of tatty lures, yo-yo type iron, works really good down there.
Knife jigs.
I absolutely love Laredo. If you've fished it before, I don't know what to tell you, but it is a place that has maintained that sense of a small Mexican town. I even love going to that church there, the
Mission?
Nuestra Señora de Loreto. I mean, the Jesuits built that back in the 1700s. You walk in, you feel the history.
Yeah.
So I love all that. So have fun. What do you think? Did you hear that question?
Yeah, from the guys that go down there, they're taking your traditional yo-yo jigs, your 6X Junior, 6Xs. But a lot of guys are starting to take those knife jigs down there too.
Oh, really?
Similar to that tuna stuff, and they're catching a lot of that grouper and pargo and stuff like that.
Do those knife jigs work yo-yoing for yellowtail?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me that the other day. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I had some guys that were here for the Fred Hall show or the
Yeah.
Bart Hall show. They were here from down that area, and they took with them a bunch of butterfly jigs, which are the old style,
Yeah, right.
whatever. Now we call them old style, but they took those down there. They said that guys just down there use them a lot, and so any of that kind of stuff that's kind of meant for deeper water works really good down there.
All right, Emilio Escobar. I try myself those Nomad surface iron down in Laredo. Yellowtails love it.
Yeah, that'd be a good taste for them.
SoCal Fisherman. That's Paul Fanning. He wants me to do the runway walk again. Yes. Thank you, Paul. See, sexy.
He was
Sexed
glowing.
up.
He put those on. He was glowing.
Was I?
Yeah.
You could just see it.
Yeah. Emanating something.
I know, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm going to sleep with those on tonight.
You
Is that
probably
okay?
have a good sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Will you loan them to me?
It says it on the box. You can sleep with them.
I'm in. I'm in. All right. Let's see. Thanks for another great show, says Paul Fanning. Spending so much time on each topic. Sam, you're awesome. Brandon, the corpse. How difficult is it to get off, Phil? Oh, the shoes? Or the boots?
Easy.
Easy, Brandon.
Yeah.
Oh, they're really good.
Like crazy easy. Yeah.
Yeah, those damn extra toughs suck in my foot.
Yeah.
And it's the worst trying to get them off when I'm in my bunk. Yeah, we just talked about that.
about
You're
that, yeah.
absolutely right, man.
Yeah.
These, seriously, you saw.
Yeah, you don't
I
have to
wasn't
stand up or
faking it.
nothing. Yeah.
Those are
Come right
nice.
off. Yeah, pretty nice boot.
Yeah, Scott, what's your credit card number? Yeah. Let's see. Isaac, thanks for all the great info. You guys killed it. Emilio, lots of fly line in Loreto. Yeah,
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
yeah, we also fish deep for yellows there too.
Sometimes.
Depends on when you're, you
Yeah.
know. You used to go up north to a place called Pulpito Reef. You ever hear of that? Or go up there and fish up there. Or then you have Carmen and Catalina. Catalina's way down the beach, but
I
there's some
understand.
giant grouper down
Early
there.
in the morning, they'll fish them on the fly line, and then
Yeah.
when the sun's out, then you go down deep.
Yeah, it's a great place to fish, and just the people there are so lovely. Joe Sirwald, Sam, do you have an online site? Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place.
You know, we do. When COVID was around and we were didn't have much to do, I dabbled around trying to put it together. Didn't do a very good job, but once we got back up and going, I kind of left it. So I don't really have a website like you would see like at other shops. But if you send me a message on social media or an email at sam@islandfishingtaco.com, we do ship stuff out all the time. In fact, we're shipping out three reels today. Guys that have reached out to me after the shows. So we do take care of people, and a lot of times, one of the things I like is I almost prefer that way. That way, if a guy has a question on something, I can kind of talk to them and making sure that they have the right tackle first too before we sell them just anything off the site. So fortunately, I don't have it on there where you can just click and buy some boots right now. But if you send me a message, I'll send you an invoice and we'll take care of you.
Man, I must be doing a great job tonight because Manny wants to know, do you have a 13?
I got them. I got the 13s.
Steve Bermudez wants to know, do you have a 10?
I got them.
Yeah,
Plenty.
What are the store hours?
So Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6.
You know a guy named Ed Cruz?
I think so, yeah.
He says hi.
Hey, what's up, Ed?
Ruben Lopez, I got my boots yesterday and I love them. Yeah, they are good, man. I'm not making any money on this either.
I want to
They're
show
really
you one more
good.
thing.
All right, Sam's running off. Dan Smith. Sam, what kind of sleeping pads do you recommend for a boat deck? Because you and Phil will be sleeping in the tackle shop if this keeps up. Yeah, no kidding, Dan. And I've been toying with the idea of making another one of these, but I want to get to sleep tonight because I got to be up at 4:30 for the morning briefing.
Up all night.
Oh, morning briefing.
Sorry, right
Rock and roll. What else you got here?
So
This is what a great show tonight.
I wanted to show off these items here that
Whose idea was this show again?
it was my idea.
No,
yeah.
bull crap.
So so gentleman here, his name is Chapo's Custom Leather.
He's on here.
I saw that. I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what? I got to show this guy stuff.
He threw us $5. Let's just
did he?
acknowledge him
Heck
right
yeah,
now.
man.
Chapo! I'm going to sing your praises. Those are beautiful.
Yeah. So he makes these here. They're all handmade, hand sewn, hand embossed here, right here. If you can see this, I mean, he has actually a ton of designs. We just have a couple here to show you.
Beautiful.
Going with the tuna. He's got that wood grain looking one there. Knife sheaths. And he does
Oh,
custom.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's super nice. Super heavy duty leather. I mean, these things last forever. I know that a lot of the guys in San Diego, the crew members, they use this stuff because it lasts a long time too.
You know who would
Very
love
durable.
that? The Pongeros, man.
Oh,
some
heck
of the
yeah.
guys down. I'll have to bring them some of those.
So, we talked a little bit at the shows. He lives out in Temecula, I believe, so it's kind of hard for him to get out here. But he made his way out here yesterday. He dropped these off for me to kind of like sell them here at the shop. They're beautiful. I mean, I want a pair for myself. They're so nice. And for the guys that want a nice knife sheath, there we got them in a 6-inch and an 8-inch Forstner style, width. And man, these things are so nice. So if you guys want to check out some more, I got a few here right now. I'm sure we're going to sell out of them real quick. Come down and pick one up, and we'll have more. But check his stuff out. He also does custom belts where he'll emboss your name on the belt.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool belts, man. So
Very good.
he does a lot of cool stuff like
And
that.
Chapo throws $5. Thank
There
you,
you go,
so much. Deeply appreciate it. Scott says 6 inches is a little too long for me. Do you have a 2-inch? Scott, this is for a knife, okay? He's confused. Tim Marquez, thanks for the time spent with us. Appreciate it, you guys. Oh, it's our pleasure. Chewy in SoCal. I worked as a deckhand on the Ocean Odyssey last season. The wheelhouse boot was my selection of boot. It saved my feet. Yeah, they're comfortable too, right?
Comfortable.
Yeah. Roland Middleton, you guys are so knowledgeable. He is. Thank you for the tips and advice. Thank you, Roland. Really appreciate that. I recently had a stroke and so far unable to use my right arm. Do you guys know of any adaptive equipment? First of all, I hope you're feeling better soon, my friend. Send you all of our thoughts and prayers for a speedy recovery and hope you can get back to fishing really, really soon.
I don't. Honestly, I really don't. I'm sure somebody's out there has come up with something, but nothing that I can really recommend. I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure there's
We can
some
look
way.
into it a little bit,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Stay in touch with us, Roland. And once again, speedy recovery, my friend. You got to get back out there and catch some of these
man.
great fish and enjoy the vitamin D and vitamin C, SEA, as people like to say. Let's see. RG, might as well bring a pair of them boots for me. that dark gray 11 or 11.5. Are you going to be at Santa Ana River Lakes? I'm going to have a whole truck. My truck is all full of clothing from Mexico right now. I don't even have any room in it. We'll find some room. All right. Scott Bucher, have the SKB tackle box and size 10 boots for me.
All right.
All right. So he wants an SKB tackle box.
Okay.
Yeah. Send your credit card over, Scott. You little crumb. Hey Sam, this is from the corpse. The questions have built up again. 2.5 hours in, hundreds of people watching. We thank you so very, very much for pushing our stats to the roof, even though Sam's wife is ready to kill him about right now. Hey, Sam, when is the last day to use that shoe sale price? I think you said the end of the month last tackle stream.
Yeah, we were talking about a different boot, not this one specifically. It was another short boot. And, I'll probably honor it until the end of the month for sure. Yeah.
Is it this boot, though? Or?
No, this is a different boot here.
Yeah.
This is a new style boot. That's kind of where we're moving the old ones out to get the new ones in.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you come in, honestly, until I run out, that only thing that I won't be able to do is if I don't have the size, because we've already had a couple guys that come in and ask for a certain size. We ran out. If I don't have the size, we're not going to reorder them right away. Once we get down to where we're pretty much out of them, I might have one or two available in the future because there are some guys that don't have a wide foot, so not everybody needs a wide one. But for the time being, it's just what we have in stock.
All right, perfect. Let's see, Brandon. No, we got him. Steve Bermudez. He wants to thank your family for letting you out to play tonight. Brandon says Bart Hall show. He's talking about that price. Abraham Esparza. Oh, cool. So I can get my reel shipped to me that you guys serviced. Awesome. I'll call tomorrow.
You got it. Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Okay. Israel de la Cruz says, Sam, do you carry extra tough kids boots?
We do. We have some other in the tall youth sizes. They only go so small though. They wouldn't really be a toddler. They're more of a kind of like for an 8 to 12-year-old maybe.
All right, SoCal Fisherman wants to know, the Toit pliers, are they as nice as they look? What models do you have in stock?
They are nice.
They are.
We have all the models. In fact, they're sitting right there. We gotta find a place to put them. We're just almost done getting the store back together, and we're gonna put. I think he's got like 11 different models of tools, but we'll have them all in stock here.
All right, great. Scott, this is a nod your head and say yes. I got one of them. I like chop leather. Oh, this guy's name is
leather.
Chapo, right? Chapo.
Yeah, these things are nice.
All right, cool. Does he sell them other places?
Yeah, he sells them through his. I know he has them at
Scott's in San
Fisherman's
Diego.
Landing. They have them at Fisherman's Landing, but I know he also has a social media page. You can check out all the different designs. He's got like 30 different designs. It's pretty cool stuff. But it's Chapo's Custom Leather or Chapo Reina on Facebook.
Emilio Escobar says it better than anybody could say it. Those holsters están chingones.
That's right. That's right.
Chingon, ¿verdad? Yeah, they are. They're cool. Super cool. Has anyone recommended Tackle Shop Talk for the show? That's a good one, Corky.
good
We
one.
like it. Yes. Tackle Chisme. That's not bad, right? Yeah. Israel, big shout out to Chapo and the Outrider. I have some of his stuff. All right, good. And let's see, for the show name, yeah. And Blue Skies, that was a good joke, Phil. That wasn't a joke. Scott actually
yeah.
said that. Yeah, I wasn't joking. Yeah. Tim Marquez, a $10 bill.
There you go.
Man, thank you, Tim.
Rolling
You're
in.
number one. Really appreciate it. Sam was going to show us an upcoming lure, but you guys got sidetracked. Oh, thank you, SJ.
So this is from Yozuri. It's called a Monster Shot. It comes in about 4 different sizes, about 5 different colors. But one of the things that's unique about it is it's kind of like in between a Colt Sniper and a stick bait. So it's heavier than most of your stick baits, but it's lighter than it would be a Colt Sniper style lure. And so it kind of flutters once it hits the water. You can cast it a mile. That's the first part of it. You can get to the foamer or to some breaking fish, but it doesn't sink out as fast as a Colt Sniper does. So if you got some surface action going on, these guys right here are going to be a good choice for this year.
Hey, is there any pizza left?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You have a microwave here?
Yeah.
I might have a piece. I've blown my thing all day today anyway. All right. You think these guys are not paying attention? Man, that's, where's that jig, man? Everybody's paying attention out there. Scott Buchert, are the wide boots, are they high or low?
They are low.
They're low.
Not
Okay.
2 inches low, but they are low.
No, sorry, Scott. Matthew Martin, show name, Sam's Island Time. That sounds good to me.
Another good one.
And Scott Buchert says, teach us more, please. That's the last question,
That's the last
on the
question.
board. Do you think it's time we say goodbye?
It's about time.
What a great show, man.
Yeah, man, these things were rolling in, huh?
We got, oh my God, that was 2.5 hours
How many questions
of
was that?
solid questions. A couple hundred?
Oh man, there's another one.
Was it? Brandon. Oh man, he's not going to let us go.
Long
Last question for me. Is it true that these tuna like biting on wooden boats more compared to steel boats? That's the rumor regarding the wood being more stealthy and more quiet. So there is that goes
Yeah.
around, but it's mostly due to vibration.
Right.
If you got a weird
Harmonics,
vibration going
yeah.
on, then and some guys go to great,
Yes.
I mean, a lot of money
tune in and yeah.
to get the vibration out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I bet most of those boats down there all get bit really, really good, so it shouldn't be a problem. You're quiet now. You want to get out, right? There's one more guy. Oh, let's see. Good night, great show, says Isaac. 51 Soriano. It was a great show. Thank you very much. We'll bring in
Still
my
got 100
talent in.
watchers.
Man, I'm
Pretty
telling you.
crazy, man.
I know, isn't it?
That's crazy. There's
I'm
100
telling
people
you.
out there that want to
This
see
was
us.
a great idea, this show, that I came up with. I don't care what you say. All right, I'm going to let you. There's another one. You read, and I'm going
You
to.
got
Since
it.
we have a really big staff here, I'm
yeah.
going behind the camera. You can wish everybody good night. Thank you, everybody.
Good night,
Love
guys.
you.
Thank you for having us, and we appreciate all your support.
All right, good night, everybody.
See you
We'll
later.
see you for the morning briefing tomorrow morning.
Hit the button. Hit the
I
button.
can't hit it. I got to move this thing.